Inside my head, see voices behind the wall, uplifting the underdog. We fighting above the law.
So, woohoo, here we go. Hello, hello.
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 Hi, everyone.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thanks for doing this. Now, okay, right away,
Absolutely.
we're going to get into it. Mods, please, if there's any of you guys, because mods are a reflection of our channels, if there's anybody that has a problem with tonight, please just click off for tonight. I'd rather you do that than me having to like take people's wrenches or whatever, but I don't think that should be a problem. If you have a problem with anyone that's in the chat or Benny, click off for the night. It's not the show for you. I still love you and appreciate you. But again, mods are a reflection of our channels. We all got to be on the same page. Subscribers, listeners, viewers, don't come with the bullshit tonight. We're not having that. This is some serious shit that I want to know. I have questions. I know a lot of you are. Benny did what he did, not just for funsies, guys, because it's not fun being around these people or dealing with these people. So, you know, if you love him or hate him, that's aside tonight, because he did work. He went in there. If you ask me, it's undercover. It's like a spy. It's many different things that he did. And I didn't even meet these people in person, but I lived on the phone with them, and that was more than I could handle. And you can't be around these people or deal with these people without it changing you. And so we're going to learn a little bit about that tonight as well. So if you have a problem with Benny, you need to just pack it up and move it on, because I will block people tonight. So mods, be mindful, because both Benny and I, you know, we don't sugarcoat things. We know we want open opinions. That's what we're about. But don't be assholes tonight, because what Benny did, some of you all can say he crossed the line, which, you know, Benny and I can agree or disagree on certain things. He got information and he got directly with the source, which is soul sucking, you guys. So I'm anxious to hear from him. So anyone's got a problem, kick rocks tonight. Sorry, but I love you, but that's how it is. Hey, killer.
And I apologize to anyone that I may make this evening uncomfortable for. I do apologize.
That's nice, but honestly, we should all be adults here, and
No,
let's be real.
No,
People that hate you, like, they're watching you still. Just like I got all that hate, but for why? When they're all using our information and listening to it, it doesn't make sense. So to jump right into it, Benny, when you called, it was a call that I was hoping I would get. I've talked to hubby here about it a lot, and really quick, guys, I'm not trying to ignore you guys, but I said beforehand, I'm actually not gonna pay attention to chat. I'm paying attention to Benny tonight. So I'm looking at Benny on the camera, and I'm talking to Benny like two old friends catching up and working and trying to find answers. Okay, so forgive me for not, you know, individually talking to people in the chat tonight. There's time for that after. So Benny, so again, the call, I was hoping for that, and I didn't have to happen, right? You could have just went about your thing. You know, this has definitely changed you. A lot of people can see that. It's plain to see. And you could have just went about your thing, and we didn't have to have any conversations, but you called me. Oh, we lost him, or we lost us. One or the other.
Uh-oh.
Is it our Wi-Fi or his?
No, I think ours is still good.
Ours is good? Okay, we'll give that a minute. Benny, you're buffering. If you can hear, you might want to come out and come back in. Yeah. Benny, I'm just going to kick you and come back in there. So anyway, Benny didn't have to call and apologizing to somebody, especially apologizing publicly on a public platform. That takes a lot of guts, you guys, and I appreciated it. Now, when Benny gets back up here, there's something I want to bring up to him, because if you guys remember and you go back, you'll kind of know there came a point where I was being asked to go after Benny. Benny was being asked to go after me. There he is. And you're back. Okay.
It got dumped off.
So, what I'm bringing up, you didn't have to apologize. I appreciate that. I did some shit too that I also apologize for. When you get sucked into this, everyone's
So
emotions
hard.
are on high, and
So
you
hard.
know, fire fighting fire, really.
It is. You're
And
right.
I apologize as well because, I mean, I definitely fucked up as well. And one of the areas is I should never have asked you to go along with bullying me publicly, and actually I wanted to stage an event. I'll word it like that because, like I was telling them, I was kind of asked. It was definitely a force trying to pull us together, and I was aware of it, and you were aware of it. I was aware of
Absolutely.
it, and I wanted to play into that, and you weren't comfortable with that actually. And
Well, I was, because you're my great friend, and I still would do those things for my friends, but I understood the design completely.
yeah, so when I look back at it now, that's kind of the timeline. It didn't even make sense. All of a sudden, just one day, we weren't friends.
Right.
It never fully made sense to me, but I
Me
always
neither.
knew. I always told you, whatever play you had to make, I'm on board. So I knew that if this was what I was thinking it was, I would get an apology one day. And I was like near crying. You heard me when you called. I was like, oh my God, I
I
was
was the
waiting for
same
this call.
way. It
Yeah,
was like the reunification. It was a good feeling, a very good feeling.
is it a fair feeling of mine to have that is kind of what switched it and you had to make it very real? It couldn't just be a 24-hour thing and you just kind of acted on that and took it from there then?
Yeah, I felt like we had to keep a hand in it, and
Yeah.
um, I unfortunately I realize that I'm probably not a great friend while I'm doing this sort of work, because if in my mind I get it twisted around that something isn't what I think it should be, then I don't have a problem, you know, trying to draw a distinction between me and working for the goal, which is finding Summer. And in that, it's caused a lot of insensitive situations on my side that weren't warranted, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, it took a toll really on everybody because I did things that, in all reality, I'm saying, oh, Benny, he crosses these lines that I can't cross. But I crossed lines too that maybe Beth or Cotton Candy Boobs or Kim wouldn't necessarily think it was moral to cross. I should never have asked my friend to pretend to bash me publicly. In all reality, I shouldn't have said, do this, Benny. Even,
But but that was, I knew that I would do that for my friend, and so I guess I am the kind of friend that will lie for my friend. I don't know if everyone will love that dynamic about me, but I when I love my friends enough, I'll do anything.
we
Absolutely.
had we had Summer in mind though. We were like, if we're
Absolutely.
real friends, we
Trying to
will
figure
be
out.
okay at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yes.
Now, going deeper into that, without really like interrogating you, is there anything more like you would speak about that situation like freely? Like what kind of was going on? What were you feeling in that? Like,
I didn't tread lightly. Like I felt like I needed to push my spiritual beliefs. Like my spiritual beliefs had to be the standard for everyone else, and I felt like if someone goes against the church, then they're going against me automatically, and that
mm-hmm,
wasn't my place to do that, or to think that way or say those things. Like if someone questions the church, like that's their business. It should not be any of mine. And at
right.
that time I was not good at compartmentalizing, and I'm still learning, but to compartmentalize how you feel online and then to go offline and then snap back to life. It's a
Mm-hmm,
crazy adjustment. It doesn't just happen like that.
mm-hmm. Yeah. So what we're gonna just get like really raw, and I'm gonna ask you like I would ask anyone. When you went, first time you go to meet Don and Candace, now, did
Yes, ma'am.
you go meet them in person? How were you feeling about guilty or innocent at the time of actually, okay, I'm getting in my car or I'm getting whatever, however you got there, but I'm going to meet them at that time, because I know what we chatted about before, but also when you get deep in, like even I started blurring the line. I didn't even know, am I friends with Don? Like, you know what I mean? Like I was lost. The lines were blurred for me too.
Yeah.
So when you do that, kind of, how were you feeling then at that time? Because I know what you thought before. I know how you feel. Like, we see how you feel now, but at that time, because I feel everything's a blur.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
What were you feeling? What was the feeling then, meeting them face to face?
It was such a letdown because I don't know what I had built those people up to be in my mind, but clearly, the Innocence Before Guilt project that I've been running for a long time here, it played on my own mind. Because when I got there and I met these people in real life, there was an instant pity, but it was the sort of pity. The only thing I could really compare it to is like someone that has a whole pack of cigarettes in their pocket, but ask you for a cigarette. It's one of those really weird pity deals. Like, it's like there's actually not pity they want. It's just a weird attention. And but I still came there believing in their innocence before their guilt. But it changed while I was there.
How quick of being around them do you think that changed for you?
Well, there was a specific event that took place that completely turned me on a dime. It was when MGL and BHB and JLR came up there, and we did all that jazz. And when the police came, I had this feeling in my heart and this idea in my mind that when they get there, the police are going to be very gentle and considerate towards the Wells. And when they got there, they were very, very condescending, not treating them well at all. And the immediate feeling that I got from Lieutenant Macklin was that he believed that they did it. He just couldn't prove it.
Right. How is that to be standing there and witness that?
It was a pinnacle moment. It was like, holy cow, like the internet actually isn't real. I mean, because you're looking at it on the internet, and you're also listening to people, pump narrative and agenda into your ear and your mind. But then when you get there, and Cam and Allie were standing there with me, and I'm not sure at the moment that they saw it like I did, but when they left, I was like, that wasn't good. And he was like, what? And I was like, that lieutenant, who is the boots on the ground guy for Hawkins County and stuff, he treated them just like he knew that they had murdered or abducted their own child. He just could not prove it in that moment.
Wow.
And when I saw the frustration on his face, I thought, well, wow, this guy's just a D-head. He's just a bad guy. Doesn't like his job. So I saw a break in the conversation, and I just did one of these, like, and he came right over, and he was like, hey, what's up? He was a very decent man. I thought maybe he's just a hothead cop. He was a very decent man. He talked to me with much courtesy, much respect. And I just was like, that's how – I didn't just get that by not talking to the lieutenant. I got that by prefacing it myself, like, okay, he's not a dick. Like, this guy's a good guy. He just doesn't like them.
Yeah. Do you get the feeling, do you think that was an ongoing thing? There's many calls to that house, or you really think that, okay, it's the feeling they think they're guilty, but there's no evidence?
It's the feeling. There's been a lot of calls to the house, and you can see the history of it. There's been a lot of calls with no police recourse. Even this last one where she claims she broke her finger or whatever, like you get there, and then they respond to a DV situation, but they don't end up taking anyone to jail.
Right. Yeah, and that's another thing I wanted to ask you. I was going crazy when I heard that. With that call, do you feel was like did Candace have a hurt finger really? Was it ignored or do you think
She
was
did not
it
have a hurt
lie?
finger.
Okay, so she's lying,
Yeah.
crying wolf again. Okay.
And there's many, well, there's a few reports of Candace being the aggressor on Don. And I'm not here to say that Don is an angel or that Candace is an angel. But what I'm saying is it was a mutual combatant situation there. It was not always a situation where Don put it on her. You heard Jose. He heard a thump on the floor. He ran upstairs and she was on top of him.
Yeah.
Giving him the business.
And
So,
I would say even just from the video calls, if you remember, I would tell people
absolutely.
I said like I haven't, not that Don doesn't be aggressive towards Candace, but everything I witnessed, she was being, I remember the one day she grabbed him and was like shoving him and stuff, and I remember getting off that video call like, holy shit, you know, like she's the aggressive one. But it's a very toxic situation between both of them.
it is. I mean, they definitely find excitement in the makeup period of all of that. Like they'll beat up on each other and then they'll have some drinks and then they're back in love again.
Okay.
That's kind of how they know that they love each other is like they need a love check, then they create a scenario where they get hit and then they're like, oh yeah, he does love me or she does love me.
That's typical toxic and drug and alcohol.
Completely.
Yeah, toxicity.
Completely.
I want to go all the way back. Now, we have these rumors that you and I have met Don Wells before.
Oh, jeez.
Which is ridiculous. And I mean...
We had a plan to go, but then everything
We
changed. It was the end of October. We had talked about going on close to Halloween. But Miss Cher's situation changed, mine changed, and it just didn't pull together. But
Yeah.
it was a plan, but we never completed the mission.
After, like in October, after summer had already been missing for months. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Halloween
absolutely.
after summer went missing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's bring it all the way back, because I don't even know if I've known this. I remember the first video I ever saw of you talking about the Wells, and that's how I found you, was you were talking about Don Wells. And I want to go all the way back and tell me, do you remember, well, you must remember, what were you doing? What were you wearing? You know, because to me, this is like, I'll remember that almost like 9/11, how people will remember that day, everything.
Yeah.
What were you doing when you heard about Summer Wells? Do you take us through that day, your thoughts, your feelings then on that day?
So I think I heard about it, but it wasn't even until about 2 weeks after her disappearance. So it never struck me as like, oh, there's this thing I need to deal with, because I was dealing with the Cash Gurnan stuff, which is just less than 2 miles from my house. Right. So I started getting a lot of people trying to edge me towards it. They're like, there's this girl you got to go see. And when and it's the first time I've ever said this, when I turned on their first interview, which would have been on, what was it, the 19th or the 29th? I think it was the 29th of June. The first thing I thought to myself privately, I said, they're guilty. There's just no way. Like, and as I continued to listen and I continued to see what was going on, I jumped in. But I jumped in not because I wanted to find Summer in that moment. I'll be completely honest. It was more about innocence before guilt. I knew that in my heart and my mind, there's really nothing in the point of her being in the wind. There's nothing you can do. They got over 100 agencies looking for her. So I thought, well, let me dig in over here and see, you know, what I can find out. And I'll have to say, if it weren't for Cher and Mr. Mark, I would not have had a segue in to even talk to them. So Cher decided to bring me in, and it was really at that point that I sort of reversed how I felt about them, and I said, okay, listen, Cher and Mr. Mark, they're working it on this side, and so I'm going to join them.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
And it was really about we had a group that we were all on different pages, which I think was good.
Yes.
It was good. We all kind of.
I just see Miss Marlene, and I just want to mention the one thing, and it's when people say I have a history of this. What I have a history of is promoting innocence before guilt. Miss Marlene, you have to understand that very little of what we actually do here has a huge impact on the actual case itself. Mm-hmm. Right? So we can jibber jabber all we want over here, but a lot of this jazz, it doesn't reach the wave. So a history of trying to keep an environment innocence before guilt. But unfortunately, I'll be completely honest with you, Cher, Mr. Mark. I've been wrong both times. I thought the Cal City Boys family, I thought they deserved innocence before guilt, and actually they're guilty. And now this scenario, and it's like, was I wrong? No, but I did promote innocence before guilt, even at my own detriment.
Hmm.
Well, we did too.
We did too.
Yeah. We were interviewing Don.
By the way, comments like that are not welcome, mods. If you would get them out, I said that from the beginning, Marlene. That's very childish, and it's not useful whatsoever in any case whatsoever. So, all you do is get behind your keyboard and write some kind of.
And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but no, I've never addressed really on a public forum what people call my history, and my history is just going hard for the underdog, but in this scenario, this is a completely different scenario.
That's exactly how me and Benny clicked, actually. That's what we do. And we're human. We can be wrong. Now, that doesn't make you a bad person. You're human.
Well, you know what sucks about it? Heart. Right. But what sucks about it is that you can be right in the eyes of all the other people in the world that support due process, but in the eyes of 10,000 YouTubers, you're wrong. And so you adjust your whole belief system to appease this here and not be a part of the real society, and that's the issue with it. For me.
Mm-hmm.
So I have questions, but now I'm like out the window with it. I'm just gonna go how it flows. It's better like that. But what is? No, I'm not gonna ask that first. I want to know through this. Now you've made comments that I think a lot of people just love to hate. Like they love to hate me, and they love to hate you. Like these people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now. You have made comments which I totally understand and I can relate. When you go into any case, but specifically the Summer Wells case, it takes a toll on you because we don't just turn on our YouTube and talk. We intertwine our own lives with these people, and that is hard. Now, you've had some losses through this case, which I'm sorry, by the way, and people that use that against you is just terrible and disgusting. And even though we weren't on the same page then, I always had your back on that. That is
you did. I know
ridiculous
you did.
And not acceptable. And that's not what our true crime community is supposed to be about, first of all. Right. I understand that because we have gone through it. There's times where I've been outside sitting in the back of his truck trying to plan a way back to Minnesota because we are, like I said, we aren't just, I don't consider us really, we're not just creators.
No, we got our hearts
yes,
wound
we're getting
in this
our
thing.
Hearts in there. We are undercover detectives, we are spies, we're all of these things, actors, actresses. We have to pretend to be their best friend, their brother, their sister, whatever
Absolutely.
that they're needing of us in the situation. And
We've got to be that.
Yeah, we got to be that. And like I've been telling everyone, Benny, law enforcement and people that are, still got their credentials and aren't expired, they have rules that they have to follow, or everything could be thrown out the window should one of these officers do something wrong, and there is a trial one day. Well, if they don't follow by the book, everything can be out the window. But you, me, Mark, we don't have these guidelines that we have to follow, and I don't think people are understanding that. Detectives are allowed to lie to get a confession, people. We aren't detectives. We're allowed to do whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's we're only bound by our ethics and our morality. And I think, I'll be, and I've also never said this, I'll be completely honest that I do believe that the level of my interaction and involvement, it was irresponsible to my own life. I got into this scenario that I've never been a quitter. I never let somebody run me off. And it was like the harder they tried to run me off, the tougher I
sticking to it.
Yeah,
trying to prove a point.
Yeah, and that just absolutely razor blades your personal life.
It
just shreds it.
It really does. It does.
Yeah.
And I think most adults will understand that. You can't go around these people and not be changed.
You cannot.
What actually, in talking with that, how have you changed, do you think? How are you different today than you were June 15th?
It's affected me adversely where, like I'm still, like there is a level of PTSD. It's not from like watching something happen, although I watched a lot of things happen while I was in Tennessee. A lot of things happened to me. But
wow.
It changed me in a way where I look at people differently. Like I kind of don't look at people. I look at people like vessels now. Like, yeah, you're here for that, but you're carrying, like the important part is what you're carrying, your soul. Right. So, also like I've come to find that when it comes to children, like adults are expendable. Right. Like if, my new motto is I will turn on a best friend for a child in a second that I don't even know. And that's sort of the difference now, is that I want every child to be protected, and that now I feel like a warrior for that. And when you're a warrior, you got to look like, you look like a monster sometimes.
Yeah.
I look like a monster a lot of times, but it is because I want this little girl home so badly. And imagine trying to, find a diamond ring in the bottom of an ocean, but you got to swim through all the nasty bottom feeding fish. It's impossible.
Tell us. So I'm going to pull up, the video. You played it the other day. That video
Yes,
that
ma'am.
I had Don send us back in the early days. I'm going to pull that up. And I just kind of want to, it's me.
That's stuck in a lot of people's craw, that video. And I'm glad to actually have the opportunity here to get the real actual context from you and Mr. Mark now, instead of just speculating on what I think it is.
Yeah, there's rumors. Okay, so there's so many questions, Benny. We're going to need multiple shows. Is there a shed that has some kind of hidden floor basement in it?
Yes.
There
Yes.
is.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to find that video. It's Don retraces his steps. And I want to pull that up because I think it's good to go over it, because you were there. And people that have gone there, they keep saying how different it is in person. And I believe that. But also it's got to be so much different when you get as close as you were, not just to the area, but the people,
Oh yeah. I mean, I was actually, I was doing work around the house, painting and a lot of different things. And I was outside using the hose, and while I was using the hose, I wandered down by the basement door. Like I had a real problem being around that area. Like it just didn't feel good to me. But I happened to go down by the corner of the house in the basement, there where the door she allegedly went out of, and I saw the corner of a green, looked like a bucket lid. So I said to Candace, I said, Candace, there's a bucket buried in the ground right here next to the house. What's up with that? And she was like, oh, yeah. All through here, all around the house, Don's mom, Karen, buried buckets, like end of times buckets with grains and with seeds and just very strange. Yeah, there's Shannon S. I dug up one of the buckets, and it was a 5-gallon bucket that was sealed, and it had wheat grain seeds in it to grow wheat. And they were just a whole area of the yard right there on the downslope was buried with supplies. So just the whole thing was very weird. Now, one of the things that I found really weird was the fact that that shed the garage we're talking about, for whatever reason, you don't even see it on the Google Earth. It's like you can't. Right.
I heard you say that the other day.
And then I get there and I'm like, whoa. Where did this whole garage come from right here? Like it's when you're getting
Do you
familiar
mind if
with
I invite Shannon up? Sorry.
Sure. Yes, she would love to come up, I'm sure.
This is, I'm going to put the link in there for Shannon if you want to join us. I made you a mod as well. But yes, reminder to the chat. I'm not paying attention to the chat. I'm interviewing my friend. So, and $37 raised, by the way. Awesome job. Thank you. I will be checking in on that. And after this is over, I have a drawing of 2 people that my kids chose. That is a winner from White Rabbit's giveaways today. So
nice.
Don't let me forget about that. I was trying to get her thumbs up to 150. I think we got like 200 or something like that. Okay, I'm going to pull up this video. Shannon, hop up if you would like. There you are. Hello, Shannon. Welcome.
Hey, Shannon.
That's my getaway driver right there.
Your getaway driver?
Don't get that started. Good God.
Shannon, before I bring up that video, I'd like to ask you the same as Benny. If 2 things, actually. How are you changed now today? Like, how are you different now from your experience in this all than you were June 15th?
I'm not even quite sure how Benny puts it in words, to be completely honest with you. It was very, very, very heavy being up there. And then it was even heavier trying to continue to hold your composure through the whole thing. And then when the lies just got to be enough, it was like, you know what, I'm just done. And it's almost like you feel that immediate urge to have to purge yourself of just everything and get it off your chest so that you don't feel so toxic. It's like being septic. And then
you find somebody and cry on their shoulder after a night of being there or after a day of being there. Like, seriously.
For sure. Yeah. And then being there a week is just profound. It's insane.
Wow.
I mean, I got caught up in a situation with Voldemort where I almost shot the man with her gun. It was just like the things that were happening while you're there on the ground. It's like, this is the way it is all the time. Like, holy cow, like my life is very benign, right? But going and seeing all of that, it was like nonstop. It just never stopped. Just something always moving. And it was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Wow.
And actually Shannon went there twice. So she has even more things to talk about. But Shannon, would you feel comfortable talking about the scenario when you were there in January?
Sure. I mean, are there specifics that you want to know?
The opiate bottle.
Oh, yeah, about that. So the puppies were only about a month old, right? So, she had them in a box. It was a pretty heavy duty box, but it was just as you walk into the kitchen, and it's on the floor right next to their second sink that Don wanted put out there, I guess, and instead of the bathroom so that they could brush their teeth. Well, about 3 feet from that is the kitchen table, and I was sitting there, and it was my last day there. I was getting ready to go, so of course I wanted to hold all the little puppies because I'm an animal nut, and they were so damn cute. And I picked one of them up, and he was laying in the craziest little position with his little fat belly sticking up, and I said, oh my God, I gotta hold him. So I picked him up, and he stayed asleep, and I had my phone in my hand, and I was taking pictures of the dogs. And I went to set my phone on the table because I was going to put the puppy in my hoodie pouch. And it's just, it's just one of those things. And as I did that, I noticed that there was a prescription pill bottle on the counter or on the table right in front of me. It was about, I'd say, a foot from the edge of the table when I set my phone down. And I had noticed that I could see just the letters US and then Harrer. And it said, I saw dracodone. So obviously it's going to be hydrocodone, right? Mm-hmm. And it said June 15th on it. I didn't see what doctor, I didn't see what pharmacy, because that stuff's usually off to the left. I didn't see if there was any refills or anything like that on it, because that stuff's typically on the back. I didn't ask any questions. I didn't touch it. I tried not to make it known that I saw it.
Just a mental
when
note.
It said June 15th, Candace Harrer and hydrocodone.
Which is, it's interesting because, what did we hear? She got Motrin or ibuprofen and then a cortisol shot or some sort of nerve blocker shot. Mm-hmm. Never did we hear anything about the opioids. But the interesting part about the opioids that happened on the 15th via what Shannon saw was that on the 4th of June, there was almost a mirror situation that happened. The way that it all built up, it almost started to look like a practice run, right? So
that's what I was saying. Yes.
Yes.
So the text messages that happened with Hunter and them are real. The exact same thing played out 2 weeks prior.
11 days to be exact.
11 days. Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. So you've got what looks like this dry run, but in that situation on the 4th, Hunter reached out to Candace first. Hunter asked Candace to come and see him. Candace responded back. 11 days before. Yep. Responded back, well, where's your mom? And then H says, well, she stayed with grandma. So you had all of this, stuff going on with the pills. And meanwhile, they tried to minimize, they always tried to back themselves out of having anything to do with the pills. And I wondered why,
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Jace for Justice. I love you.
Good evening, Jay. Hope you had a happy Easter.
You guys, wow. Okay, everything.
It's a lot. It's a whole lot.
Is. Let me bring up this video because I really want to know what you guys. Good
evening, AF.
Your take. Oh, and again, you guys, tonight, I don't want, please do not bring up Ernie. I do not give a shit about Ernie. Don't bring it up. You will be blocked. I don't care about Ernie show, okay? We are actually going to do a watch show of his trial that he set his brother up in. That's a whole different day. Tonight is about Benny and Shannon as well is joining. Thank you, Shannon. This is all about summer. And learning more and honestly, I want to know about my friend's experience being this close to these monsters, okay? That's what tonight is about. It's not about Ernie Shaw. Mods, I don't care if they're saying anything nice.
Thank you, Jay.
Or you see his name, they're out. Thank you. Sorry. Just how I feel.
No, you get them, girl.
Let me... all of the things that are not important are not welcome tonight.
And actually, Shannon just had the fly on the wall view at the whole thing. I mean, she even, Candace was even sending her, information about men that she was chatting on with date sites. And
I heard that. That was you, Shannon. Ah.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
You poor girl. So the important things that she was chatting with you, right? So can I ask you then, Shannon, How often did you hear about her wanting to find Summer and her missing Summer and her children, um, compared to attention seeking of women or men? Because she's talked to me about women, but yeah, what would you say the scale is on her concern for children, a missing daughter, and then attention from, let's say, men and new attention?
You know, that's kind of a fine line. It's kind of muddy, only because of, you know, we would talk about the rumors that were on YouTube. So that would then bring up, you know, discussions about men that were alleged she was interested in. But as far as directly from her, you know, she would call me continuously and cry about that, you know, Benny doesn't feel the same way about me as I feel about him. You know, and then it was shortly before we fell out that she was talking to me about, she was on a dating website, and was telling me about a couple of the guys that she was talking to. We talked several times, mostly initiated by myself, about the kids. You know, I would ask her, okay, what else needs to be done to get the boys back? Well, I don't know. They keep giving me different lists. Most of the time, though, I gotta be honest, though, most of the time she was more worried about Benny, and what he was doing and why he wasn't, you know, calling her back or texting her back. And I mean, I've got text messages from her. We talked mostly on video chat on Facebook, but I've got Facebook messages where she's like, you know, why do I love this asshole and things like that. You know, she would call me crying. She'd already be drunk and Donnie was downstairs sleeping. And matter of fact, that was actually a huge point of contention between her and Don, because there was so much speculation going around on YouTube that she had already messed around with Benny, which I know didn't happen.
Yeah.
Oh, that Benny.
You know, and I mean, even if it wasn't for the circumstances, and Benny and I have talked about this in great length, even if it wasn't for the circumstances of her having a missing child, that's definitely two different leagues.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, I don't want to pick on anybody's foundation. I don't want to pick on anybody the way they live, but that's definitely not, I don't know what Benny's type is, but I would bet money that it would never be somebody
Mexican.
Mexican. He likes the Mexicans.
Yeah, I'm not. You know, everyone has a flavor, but what I thought was really strange about all that was that while she was making that contention, she just had all her teeth pulled, and she had blood clots coming out, and so it was like, you know, for her to say that during that time, pardon me, was just so out of pocket, you know?
I'm just going to be honest here. It was definitely like a 13 Ghosts kind of thing.
I'll be right back.
We got a sympathy thing going on here.
I think you said that just as she was taking a sip of her drink too, so it's like she probably regurgitated a little bit.
Daddy bird. Yeah,
oh, my phone's telling me it's time for bed.
I was gonna say, was that Candace?
Oh, Jesus Christmas, no, she won't ever speak to me again, and that's absolutely fine because my stress level has gone down so much. It's, yeah.
No, I mean, it's almost immediate. And I know Mr. Mark, I'm sure, can attest to that when you're not having direct contact with them people, like, life is easier.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
And it's my fault that I had that stress, though, because I put myself there, you know, and I'm not going to deny that. I definitely put myself in the middle of the mix. I went to serious lengths and actually emailed Cher to have her pass along a message to open that doorway for me. You know, for whatever reason, I was drawn to it, and I really just wanted to talk to Candace and Don. And I don't know why, because that's so out of my normal realm.
Yeah, I mean, this thing is completely out of my comfortability zone for sure.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, once this case is over, I don't know that I ever want to see. I think I'm probably going to remove the YouTube app off my iPad, off my phone. It's just like, you touch the hot stove and it burns. You're not going to touch it again.
That's right, and it never really goes away. That's the thing. It's like once you've visited the guts of this thing, you can't ever really get out of it. You know what I mean? And so I want it to be over. It changes
you for sure.
Yeah, I want it to be over for Summer's sake, just as badly as for my own. Like it's insane. True crime queen. I don't want to answer. Can I answer her question, Mr. Mark?
Yeah, go ahead. I didn't see it.
She said, Benny and panel, what shocked you all the most while dealing with Don and Candace?
The dysfunctionality.
Normalization. Yeah. It killed me to wake up in the morning and hear that Don had DV'd his wife online, or to find out the police came, and or to find out there had been a DV that didn't happen online, but I was made aware of it. And it's like I'm looking around at the private investigators and at Tim and and everybody, and I'm like, we're gonna accept this?
Benny, can I tell them about the conversation you and I had when I contacted you in a panic that night?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was laying here in bed. Of course, I'm on the East Coast, so it's like right now it's only 10:01 at my time. So I get this really late night phone call. So Grandma Candace usually goes to bed about 6, 7 o'clock. She gets up like clockwork at 3 o'clock in the morning, and she takes a nap in the afternoon. Now, this is sad because I know this woman's schedule. Okay. Yeah. But so I get a phone call, and I want to say, Benny, wasn't it around 11 o'clock or 10:30 or something my time? And I think you're an hour behind me or something.
Yeah, it was late.
So I get this random phone call, and it come up as Grandma Candace in my phone. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? Oh my God. So I answer it, and she says, she'll call you back in a minute. What? So then I hear Candace in the background. I said, is everything okay? And she said, it will be. And I hear Candace in the background, and she said, yes, sir. And I heard like a radio key up, like a police radio. And I'm like, okay. So a little while later, Candace calls me, tells me what happened. I texted Benny, and that was around the same time that it came out that Mary had said that Summer was in the septic tank. So I'm freaking out. I thought the cops were at the house because of that. And I tried calling Benny. He didn't answer. I texted him, and I said, Benny, it's all a lie. There's no way. He's like, what are you talking about? I said, Benny, I'm telling you, it's a lie. There's no way she's in there. He said, I don't know what you're talking about, but I know what's going on. And I said, well, what the hell's going on? And he said, supposedly Don choked Candace. He said, but I don't think it happened.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what people don't realize, and what people don't realize is that there was a lot of things that we knew behind the scenes that we didn't want to go public with because we didn't feel at that point that it was anybody's business. Mm-hmm. And matter of fact, we didn't feel like it was our business, really. And then the PIs being dragged into it in places that they shouldn't have been, being asked to bring pizza, being asked to come move furniture. It was a whole lot of excess shit that had nothing to do with Summer or the boys. And I got talking to Benny about it, and I said, you really don't think it happened? So then we would collaborate, and then I would reach back out to Candace, and he'd reach back out to Don. And that's where our stories are different in the way of he got really wrapped up with Don until Don went to jail. And that's when Candace really started reaching out to him more. And then I was really close with Candace. So we would bounce things off of each other quite a lot. But yeah, it was a very, very weird roller coaster.
Yeah. I bet. I mean, I didn't get as close as y'all did, but what I went through was more than enough. So I was
getting 100 death threats a day while I was there.
I bet.
From Tennessee numbers. And then there was the scenario where Don and Candace is when Don came back from his bender, and
one of them
he was trying to chase her down with the car and stuff, and then Voldemort shows up with a carload of people, and it's in the middle of the night, and you're like, oh God, this is not going to be good, You know what
Wait,
I mean?
did Cher not know that by the look on her face when you said that Don tried to chase her down with the car?
I didn't
Did you
know
not
that.
I've
part.
never heard
You
that.
didn't know that? Oh,
There
yeah.
was a situation when they say that, though. Remember when Dawn called us at like 11 o'clock at night? Like, we were in bed. And he said,
You guys weren't
"Bitch is
talking at this
lying."
point.
We weren't talking at this point?
No.
Okay. Okay. There was one time.
This was about the same time that you and Benny stopped talking.
Okay. Well, Dawn was still in contact with
Oh,
with
well, that
me.
wasn't surprising.
No, he's in
either.
contact with everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
That was his problem.
He couldn't
Well, he
go,
was.
Yeah, he was.
He was.
He
Not so
couldn't
much
go.
lately.
What was the
No.
longest? Like 2 weeks was the longest that he would go without talking to me.
Yeah.
I was just like,
Yeah,
one
he
day he
wanted
actually
to-
blamed Benny. He was like, "Benny says I can't talk to you," and I was
They
like,
were blaming
"Oh,
each other. They were
okay."
blaming each other. Candace would say it was Benny. Donnie would say it was Benny, and then they'd go back. So she would blame things on Benny, and then she'd go talk to Benny. Donnie would
Yeah.
blame things on Benny, and then go talk to Benny.
Right.
Yeah,
It was
that's
so dysfunctional,
very
so
typical.
toxic.
It was.
But for him to go get in his car and chase after her and say he's only going to run her over 3 or 4 times, and I looked at Benny and I'm like, yeah,
And
something
you
needs
know-
to stop this.
We had just got done having a conversation in the house when they stepped out. He got to screaming. I was like, look here. If he touches that woman, I'm about to do that man something bad in his own house. And so I stepped out with him. And he, like, you know, it wasn't my place to be there. Like, they were having their deal, but, you know, because I know how it is, he's going to put his hands on her. Like, you know, just standing there as they progressed, I moved with him. And it was like, I'm not going to let this man put his hands on her. And I'm not going to let her put her hands on him either. You know? And
That was the night he shoved her into the doorway and she had her blood clots came loose.
yeah, that night.
Wow. Wow, you guys. Now, okay, you guys. Okay. I just don't even know what to say. I really don't want to hear anyone talking shit about Benny or Shannon or people that were there now. To be able to actually, like, you guys had to act like this is normal life. Like, that this is ordinary. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
We had to normalize, and even Cher
Yeah.
and Mark, we all of us here, all 4 of us, we
Yeah.
had to normalize the nastiest parts of life in order to try to keep, like, anytime you heard something that you couldn't stomach in your life, you could walk away. But when you walk away because of that, you're walking away from summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I know from private conversations, this is my first time getting to talk to Shannon, but we've had lots of private conversations. And I know, just like you know, what we were battling with. And I know it was a battle for you. You were like, I don't want to walk away from summer. But I don't know how much more of this I can take. And you kept telling me, like, no, I'm like, I knew all along you were doing it for summer. I want to bring this up now because I want to know how you guys felt. And I bet, so watching videos for you guys both, is it give you guys like PTSD to even see the area now?
No, not for me. There's
No, the
nothing,
only thing I can't watch is Summer swinging on her swing where she does the wee thing.
the only thing for me is like when I see the house, my mind immediately shoots to inside the house, and then I start dealing with the bugs in the house in my head and dealing with, you know, just rowdy dishes and animals and fleas. And you know, that's when I look at the house, I'm thrust inside and see that stuff. But like when I look at Candace and stuff, I don't even feel pity. I feel angry when I
Yep.
see her.
Angry?
I feel
Resentment.
I feel
Resentment?
vengeful.
Yep.
Like, because she's not helping herself? She's not helping the kids? Like,
It's
you
not
so
know,
that
many
she's not
faces.
helping.
so
We
many
all build
faces.
a wall, and we get done and go home at the end of the day. And then Candace and Don, they come on the clock and they start bringing it back down.
Yeah.
They actually are taking away. Not that they're not helping; they're being destructive.
Destructive. Wow.
Yeah, like that is. It's the like people are like, oh no, he's doing this or doing that. Like you think he's not going to search. And in my opinion, it's because he's going to do something way more nefarious, right? It's the exact opposite.
I just met Shannon this evening. I've heard her over the last couple weeks. I've seen clips and stuff. Shannon, would you mind introducing yourself and kind of how did you get into the madness here in the Summer Walls case?
You?
Me? Oh shit! I'm sorry.
No, it was my own doing. I had actually reached out to you and had you email Don let Don know. I had emailed you and have you let Don know that I was reaching out to them.
So many, but
well,
okay.
Yeah. And then I was the one that said I was up there in January, and that when the flare went off over Molly and them's heads, and we couldn't.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry,
there's
so many people, I lose track of who is who, and then sometimes the email name is different than the YouTube name, and I'm just like,
yeah, I bet. Well, so I got involved because, I didn't know that there was an ugly underbelly to YouTube. I thought it was just for, you want to look up a song, or, my husband learned how to
make grilled
change the
cheese
clutch in his
and
motorcycle by YouTube, and I was following the condo collapse in Florida. And that was a pretty hefty, very emotional thing for me because I don't know. People tell me I'm an empath. I don't know what that all entails. I don't want to be anything like that, but
no, you do. An empath is good, and Benny is an empath. I am an empath. Many of us here that I like, Cotton Candy's empath. Empath means you really wear your heart on your sleeve, and you feel you're like a sponge. So if you see me sad or Benny sad, you also feel sad. Maybe you don't even know why, but you're picking up their emotion and you're absorbing it like a sponge. That's an empath. You don't even have control of it. And I can tell because you would never put yourself in the situation if you weren't.
Absolutely.
So, absolutely. It's a good thing.
I had spent some time, for the people that don't know, I had spent some time up on the hill. I was up there at the same time Benny went up there because I felt it was a safer option than going there by myself.
Yeah.
So we were up there for about a week, and then I had gone back in January, and continued to talk to Candace several times a day for very long periods of time, until I didn't anymore.
Mm-hmm. And that's draining. Just on the phone, I lived on video calls with them. That is
draining. You don't have time to do your own thing anymore. It just consumes you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would roll right over to a problem that was, their crisis become your emergencies, and it's
absolutely.
Yeah. And it's,
you feel guilty if you don't make it.
Yes. And they know that though.
Yes.
They know that you'll feel that way.
Take advantage of it.
They take advantage of it. It's like, oh, you don't want to answer when I call you? Well, then I'm not going to answer when you call later on.
Yep.
Weird stuff like that.
Oh, you guys. Wow. You guys honestly deserve a medal.
No, we're all a team because
we deserve summer home.
Yeah, your perspective, Benny's perspective, my perspective, and anybody else that's been involved in all of this has vital information that the other one doesn't, because Benny and I saw a lot of the same things. We've discussed it behind the scenes to kind of collaborate together and say, what the hell was that? And bounce things off of each other.
To just try to keep going. There's only, can you imagine your puppy going missing and you call a bunch of people over and they're like, okay, what did she look like? And you're like, I don't know. Or they say she's white and she was actually brown. And now you run out in the world and you're helping these people, but they've lied to you and they've put a key in your back. And now you go out and they can watch you soldier through like a goon. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's really like running a daycare, of troubled kids.
Absolutely. I tell you what, it was like 6 months back to back, 7 months back to back. But I told him when I left, I'll be back. I'll be back after March, after my son's birthday, middle of March, I'll come back. I found every reason in the world to never go back there.
And that was always a problem for her.
Yeah. This thing would be the thing. And I'd say, I'm not coming. I can't do it. This is not safe. Or a lot of it had to do, I would paint these scenarios well, you're talking to these people that are local and you've pissed them off. You can't expect me to come there and have to deal with people that I don't even know you have an issue with, like sneak attack. I'm not going to do that. But it was like I was looking every day. It would change. Okay, I'm gonna go again. I'm gonna go again, and then she'd do something else, and I'd be like, it's not safe. I can't do it. Until finally, it was like, who does this lady tell the truth to ever?
Yeah.
I don't think
Like who?
anybody.
No, and you know what, Mr. Mark? It's when you get to that point, you realize that somebody could pass a polygraph by their whole life being a lie. When you live in a lie, it's nothing. To lie and it look truthful to somebody who thinks it's truthful. It's crazy.
Yep.
Actually, now that you mention that, I'm going to pull up a different video. Shannon's up here. She wasn't a part of this, but Benny, you were. And I'm going to actually pull up, I think it's either the first or the second. Actually, I did the very first interview always with you guys. We did this as a team always because it wasn't ever about me. Only Cher putting out the stuff like people like to lie and say. I wanted it to be a team thing because I honestly I knew that this was far too much for me. And I knew that it was never about any one, I don't know what you call us, a creator. It's never about any one. It was always about Summer, and we needed as many heads together as we could. That's how we always dealt with it. In fact, if you look back, that's how Benny's always dealt with Summer. It's never been Benny alone, or people are like, Benny had to be the puppet master and take it all. Benny's actually always had a team of people.
Always.
So, and I think that says a lot.
You know what? I tried to talk to Mr. Wells. I mean, I didn't say, let me peel apart the layers and find Mr. Wells. Like, I just started sending him some videos, and he would look at them, but he would never respond.
Actually,
and I was like, you started that. You're like, hey, this is my friend Benny. Like, check him out or whatever.
Yep.
And then, like, you curated that. And if it weren't for you, like, I couldn't have talked to that man on my own.
And it got to the point where if I actually missed your shows, Don was taking clips of some of your shows and sending it to me and getting a kick out of it. You remember that?
Yep.
Like multiple times. I'm like, I didn't even get to watch it. I'll go watch it now. So it got to the point where, I was sending him Benny's videos and he's like, I like this dude. Okay, before I pull this video up, because I keep getting this in my head and then I forget. You know how I am. A little bit of weed.
Me too.
But I wanted to ask you about, do you guys feel, Benny, because I did just over the phone, and I was invited there. I could have been there if I wanted to be there.
Yeah.
I feel as though I was put through an initiation. How do you guys feel? Do you feel you guys were put through an initiation? You know what I'm trying to say.
I didn't know that I was,
right?
But I was told that there was a point where when I met with Tim, and he was like, you've been called up to the big leagues. That's the terminology he used. Wow. And so the big leagues was me, Robin, and the two PIs. So I guess it would have been 6 or 7 of us with Shannon and a couple others, but
But I feel you got used as a pawn later on by Tim. I feel like that was definitely, you were kind of a scapegoat in a way.
Yeah, definitely. There's something going on online that would disrupt the family, or that would disrupt something, made Tim feel a certain way. It just mentioned like, hey, kind of like the old mafia shit. Like, we got to have something happen, make something happen. Like, make that go away. And that's what I go and make it go away. Come on and be a monster. Yeah, so definitely felt like I was initiated, like you had to work your way in the game,
Yeah, definitely. Wow, and you guys, that's not good. When Candace mentions having uppers, from your guys' experience, would you consider Tim? Do you question him as being an upper, or he ain't smart enough?
Well, when the phone came into the play after Don was locked up for the probation violation, he had the phone for what they say is about a 2-week period. where he worked the information in the phone, got it off, extracted it, got it off. And then once I found out about the phone, it was 3 weeks later. And I'm like, okay, so you turned all that stuff in, right? And he's like, oh, no, well, I have it if they ask for it. And I mean, well, hold on. Like, you mean you didn't take the stuff off the phone so you could run it to the police? And that wasn't it. And so, I don't know, just Tim, I still, like, I feel like he tricked me. Like, I really feel like he tricked me. He's smart. And he tricked me into believing potentially that maybe he's somebody he's not. I don't know. But, like, it just is very strange. You know, like, he definitely projected this very decent, and he seemed very decent, very honest, until the phone thing fell apart. And then when the phone thing fell apart, you know, stuff started coming to me from the PIs, and I'm like, whoa. I didn't, you know, I didn't do that, or I didn't even know about that. You know, it was very awkward.
See, and I saw a whole different side of Tim, and I didn't consider him one of the uppers that people are talking about.
No.
I almost instantly knew when Candace had made the comment about that she gave the phone to the uppers. I think a lot of people automatically assumed also that it was the PIs. And then when I spoke to Candace on the phone prior to our fallout, I had said to her, I said, well, what the hell's the big deal about the phone? You know, just kind of fishing for information.
Right.
And I said, well, you know, she's like, I don't know. I don't even know what phone they're talking about. And then I said, what are they going to do with that phone? And she said, I don't know what they're going to do. Or I said, I'm sorry. I said, what are the PIs going to do with the phone? She said, I don't know what they're going to do with it. So there, you know, that she gave
tells
it
on
to
herself.
the PIs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because it was almost like a flip on the script, and she didn't even pay attention to it.
Yeah.
Pennington asked, I don't know where that comment went.
She wanted to know, Benny, what you meant when you said that she was part of the inner circle.
Yeah. I don't know.
So it definitely, there's a balance.
Thank you,
right? And the balance was this thing that when they said, okay, you've been called up, kind of deal. I was, you know, they kept explaining to me, like, this balance. There's this balance. It takes this balance to keep them going. And I keep hearing Tim say balance, and I'm like, this guy is just bat poop crazy. And then when I got there and I saw the inside of it, it was like, there is a balance. Like, you can, if you flick the symbol, everything just drops right off of it. And I think you see that now. Like, you know, so the inner circle was like, you had the PIs, and then you had Tim, and you had Robin, and then you had Benny, and you had Shannon. And that just created this sort of false sense of security for them, I think, where we could sort of keep an environment cultured for them where they could make it through the next day. But it was a scenario where we couldn't have known how far gone these people were when we started. There's no way to qualify that. You only qualify that by spending time with them. And when you see the savagery, like, it's like, man, damn.
Cher, do you mind if I address Connie, my one flipping life?
Is that okay? Yeah. Which comment was that? Because there was one I was going to bring up.
What was Robin's role?
Yeah, I want to address this really quick. Benny and Shannon think they're going to be charged. Listen, this is a stupid comment, Deb. No offense. I don't know if you're being serious or not, but I can't take a comment like this seriously.
They're asking if Don and Candace will be charged.
Oh, okay, because there's other comments. Now, there's a lot of talk
think
about...
they will be charged.
Yeah, because I was going to say, there's people that think that Shannon's going to catch a charge. Benny's going to catch a charge. I'm going to catch a charge.
They do think
that's silly, but okay.
We're a little on edge, Deb.
Yeah, a little.
Yeah, I got my finger on it too. You just can't see it.
Does Benny and Shannon think? Do you think that there will be charges within Grandma, Don, and Candace, or? Well, we can get to that.
I mean, I think there's going to be some charges, but I don't know for what, and I can't say that it would be for the direct.
Right.
the direct whatever of Summer. I just feel like there will be charges of some sort.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Shannon. Go ahead with that one you wanted to address, Connie.
Oh yeah, she asked what Robin's role. Now, I want to make it clear that in my opinion, and I don't know how Benny feels about that because we didn't really speak on it. I met Robin, and
Me too.
Robin
What do you
is
think?
she is really genuinely a pure-hearted person,
Okay.
in my
Benny?
opinion.
Disagree? Because I disagree. But that's from my personal experience.
I had a different situation with Robin. Robin, one of the times, and I've not talked about this, but and some people you can take it or leave it. But I'm sharing my experience.
Right.
I walked down the stairs to the Wells basement where Robin was using a broom in between the floor joists, getting the cobwebs out. And she was just working in Summer's playroom in her bedroom or whatever. And I'm coming down the stairs and I hear she's having a phone call with her husband. And she says something and then he says, "You're such a fucking liar." And I froze and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And I turned around and went right up the stairs. And I at that moment, I didn't know why I would hear Robin's husband calling her a effing liar. But then it became clear to me later on in my stay that there were times when she would go to the Wells and potentially be deceitful to her husband to go do that.
That is
She'd
true.
have to She'd
She
have to
talked
lie
me
to her
about
husband to go do that.
Yes, she
and-
told me she lied to her husband.
Well, she had told me that she was in a really bad abusive relationship prior to being with this man.
Yep.
And then when she got with him, she realized that he was kind of controlling. And he didn't like the idea for her safety and for their daughter's safety for her to not go there. He didn't like her going there.
I
So
understand. I understand.
She was
I
about
get it.
Summer. She was all about Summer, and she was doing up a bedroom for her and everything else. And she would hand down all of her daughter's clothes and things. So it's definitely, I believe,
And I'm not painting. I'm not
a little bit of deceit, but I don't feel like it was the way that people.
No, I'm
think.
sorry. I'm sorry. There's a little bit of a lag. My bad. Okay, there. No, I am not trying to paint Robin in any bad light. Let me context it. I'm trying to say that the woman is a soldier for Summer Moon Utah Wells, and she'll do whatever she has to do to fulfill what she feels like is her duty to that child. If that means lie to her husband, whatever, like she's going to do what it takes to make her feel like she's done enough. And I applaud that woman. She's an awesome woman. It just, unfortunately, she attracts what she attracts.
Yeah. And you know what? Nice, sweet people like Robin or like Shannon or me, we do attract people with issues, right? Because we want to help. But Robin, no, it kind of is, I'm on the fence between both what you guys are saying because, sorry, let me turn this on. I'm eating fajitas, guys.
I'm sorry, I'm smoking.
And I've had personal interactions with Robin, and she told me that her husband did freak out on her. Now, her husband was aware she was friends with the Wells. He was not aware in what area the Wells lived in. So I have conversations with Robin. Forgive me, Robin, for sharing this, but this might be a good insight actually to Robin. Like you're saying, Benny, she loves Summer and will do anything for Summer.
Anything.
She did lie to her husband from conversations I've had about where they lived. And when when it started going on the news and he realized that they were in that area, her husband freaked out and was like, "You've been bringing our daughter here." So there was an issue with her not being totally honest with where she was bringing their daughter to go visit Summer. So I'm aware of that situation. But she also has lied for Don and Candace multiple times, and I've confronted her about it. But again, that could be just her thinking she's being a good friend. It has.
Yeah, I do. I think that's probably what it is, because I tell you, when you meet her in real life, let me tell you what, like, you know how you meet people but you've seen them before, but you've never met them. And when you meet them, it's like they've got a heavy hand.
Yeah.
Like Robin is so light when you meet her. It's like when she goes to give you a hug, it's like a cloud touching you. It's so
But it's like the
light,
world
and
is wrapped around you at the same time.
Yes, she has that energy about her. And she's an awesome woman.
So
I had my
I
speculations
started-
at first. I'm not going to lie.
Did you?
You know, but then when I got there and everybody said, "Oh, Robin's here," and I was like, "Oh boy, here we go. Let's see how this is gonna go." I was quite apprehensive, but then when I met her, I was like, "Oh my god, is she?" Because at first I was like, "Who the hell can be that happy all the damn time? Like, what are you taking?"
Right.
But no, she's just one of those bubbly, down to earth. She just wants to. She's a people pleaser, and it's not that she's a great friend to them per se. It's more so she's loyal to Summer.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay.
That makes sense though,
It
because
does.
you did see in those church videos that she did have a bond with Summer.
Yep.
So that
There's no denying
brings
that.
me to, I started rereading our text messages, me and Robin, like within the last month, as I started undigging some other weirdness about the Sandman. Reading back one of the text messages that I was actually calling her out and calling her a liar, I read it back now, and I have it pulled up on what I want. Maybe I can pull it up on here. Let me read it. I actually read the text, the one text message back a little bit differently now. What do you guys think if I say that I feel it's possible Robin is afraid of Tim Mullen? Tim Mullen put her up to being the face for these interviews to make Don and Candace look better, but that she's actually afraid for her daughter and her family's safety.
That doesn't surprise me.
It would not surprise me.
I didn't look at it like that before, but I'm gonna pull up this post because
He's a
I
smooth
read it
talker,
now.
but he talks in riddles, so he'll confuse you to convince you.
Oh. I'm trying to find it. See what you guys think about it.
I mean, is that a fair statement, Benny? Do you think he talks in riddles and will confuse you to convince you?
I see why you would say that. Now, when I think in terms of energies, like where I've been in life, a lot of years of my life, like Don is somebody I would never turn my back to,
Right.
and I don't mean in a bad way. Like just turn like Don, I would always keep my face to him. I wouldn't turn my back on him because I don't trust him. But Tim really had, like, I went on walks out in the woods with him, talking and looking and, just, prophesizing and different things. And it just, I'd never had that aura about him. I didn't ever feel uneasy. I felt very calm and comforted around him. But then, then the thing with the phone happened and it was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Did he ever give you an excuse, like tell you why he did that?
Yes, sir. Yeah. He said as the media manager, he was trying to get access to all the photos and the videos that Don had taken since the time Summer went missing, because he's putting together some sort of production for the boys.
And I can back that up as well.
Yeah. And so I had a very extensive conversation with him, which is on my channel, where I told him, I was like, if that's all you wanted, you didn't have to take everything. Now you have everything. You've put yourself on the tracks. What are you going to do now? You need to take it in. And it wasn't there. There was no emergent, to me, what I boiled down and deduced from it was that, you've made a mistake. You don't want to take it in because you're afraid there's something in it that may make it bad.
Yeah.
Now, Benny, before the phone situation, is there anything else that kind of stands out to you big that kind of was like, okay, like kind of distrusting Tim a little bit other than just the phone situation? Because he said something that kind of stuck out to me. He said he went through your backpack. Did you hear him say that?
Yeah. And he
Yes.
actually
I saw-
admitted.
You
Oop,
saw
I got
him.
Someone
echo.
do it.
Oh, sorry. Okay, because I'm sharing screen. Let me not share that.
Oh, my bad.
Okay, there we go.
He told me about the bag scenario because other people had seen it, and he didn't want to be called a liar, so he was really forced to tell me about that. But the thing where I really started to question Tim was when I questioned Tim in California, because when they went to California, when I met
Tell
up,
them you know that they were getting drugs still, right?
Yeah,
And he had to have
they-
known about it because we had that.
he did know about it. Yeah, and that upset me. I was like,
Yes,
you mean to tell me you knew that he was actively trying to get high while he was in California, while you're trying to do all this and help him, and you don't feel any differently about that? Like, and he just always, it was like too unbiased, like unbiased in the wrong way. Like, it doesn't matter if you find out this man killed 30 children, you'll still feel the same way about him. Like, I don't have that. I won't go there.
Right.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell that. Yeah. And that's a problem. That's why I don't understand why is there people who are retired law enforcement that are actually okay with this guy. But I don't know. I mean, I like I told him, if we're wrong or I'm wrong, I will apologize,
Well, I don't think Scott really had much interaction with Tim. Like some, but not a lot.
Then maybe he should say that. Instead of actually backing him to someone that he knows has a platform. You know what I mean? I don't know. It made me...
It seems like a conflict of interest. Like, he should have really said, I don't have a public comment on Mr. Wells or Mr. Mullen one way or another.
Yeah.
That would make more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the professional way to do it, I would think. But, to really, it seemed like a real personal, it did seem like a strange banter that you sent me. It was like, what is this guy doing? You know? Yeah.
Now, how do you guys take this? Because I took this from Robin as one way. I didn't really read too much into it, to be honest. But like I said, I'm going through everything again. I'm making you hungry. I'm sorry, Jess. I should turn my camera off. I forgot. But now I read this differently, and I want both of your guys' take on this. Can you see that there?
I can't see it, ma'am.
Okay, shoot. So this is from Robin. Am I sharing screen? No, I'm not.
No.
That's why you can't see it. I'm sorry. Can you see my invisible screen? Okay. How about now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Will you read? What do you guys make of this? Mr. Sher will narrate.
Thank you, Cher. I don't want to say much because I'm still scared for my own family and child too. This world is so crazy that it doesn't take much. I think you saw yourself how even doing the right thing ends you up in trouble. The only thing I know for sure that's the right thing is to pray. I'm not going to accuse or defend. That's not my job, but I'm going to keep praying for Summer. Thank you for trying to be a light for truth. I do appreciate you. I hope when this is all over, good will come of it. Of course, the greatest good will be that Summer is found, but I'm praying for restoration and peace and understanding and love to be abound. Where there seems no end to the hatred aimed all over the place, I'm praying for resolution and love. Surely I can't go wrong with prayer for this, and I'll be praying for you too. Hang in there. Hugs to you.
Wow.
That definitely sounds like Robin.
And I'll say again, mods, go easy. I'm seeing people getting timed out for things that they shouldn't be getting timed out for.
Yeah, he's watching, by the way, because I've talked about just like taking away all but like 10 mods or whatever. We got to be mindful because, again, my mods in general are a reflection of whoever you are modding for. And you can't be timing out or just, booting people because you don't like them. Like I said, you're going to boot people that bring up Ernie because I just don't care about Ernie tonight, especially. And you're going to boot people that are just here with sarcasm and being assholes because it's not needed. We, for over 10 months now, we all have been... The emotions have gotten everybody, it's been on high. We've all been on edge, and we've been bumping heads. Summer's still gone. We're not doing that. In fact, look who we got here tonight. Welcome, Blowhorn Betty. thank you for being here.
Bullhorn Betty.
Bullhorn.
She always says blowhorn.
I'm sorry. What is it? No, I'm sorry. What is it?
Bullhorn Betty.
It's not the real one. It's not the real
I
one.
do not mean that. My words with a lot of things are not proper. Forgive me.
Cher, I'll be honest, I didn't know if the device itself was actually called a bullhorn or a blowhorn until all of this mess. So
yeah, I've heard it. I've heard it both. But she spells it bullhorn.
I'm Bendar, yes. The real bullhorn Betty. Okay, thank you for being here tonight, and I'd love to interview with you. Now, you guys, I keep saying I'm going to bring up a video, and I don't. Well, I do, and then I don't. But there's just so much. I could literally go for hours and hours talking to you. So I hope we can do this again. The call I last had with Don before he went to jail. You heard that? You heard what I sent into TBI? It's basically them saying, like, they didn't really want kids. Do you remember? I'm going to play some of it.
Please.
They really wanted to talk to my dad. And, you know.
Have you talked to Don since he's been in jail?
I have emailed him, but I gave him... This is what's funny is Candace was going around saying she didn't put money on his books for a while. I did not reach out to him at all until you let the phone stuff out. So then what I did was I took screenshots so that he could see and prove it. I sent the screenshots of her being crazy, and I sent that. I put $25 on his book. Within 12 hours, Tim Mullen got his first phone call from Don. And what was he bringing up?
How did you know? Did Tim record it?
Tim went on Facebook and made a posting. Oh, I got to hear from my best friend today. Today he called me. He never made any conversation or posts about Don calling him before that. So I'm assuming that was the first phone call he got. Now he says at the very beginning of this Facebook post, he says, and he called me. We just talked about friendly stuff. He didn't really care about the phone. That's bullshit, Tim, because I put the $25 on his books and you were his first phone call. And
you know he was upset.
You yourself, Tim, brought up the phone. So he brought up the phone to you. So
oh, yeah.
It was a problem.
Yeah, because Candace was saying that Don can only call during his 1 hour out. And he can call as many times as he can within that 1 hour. But that's also when he takes a shower. And that it's $3-something, almost $4 per call. And it only lasts for, I think, what was it, Benny, 15 minutes?
Yes.
No,
30-minute calls.
Now, I didn't make an account. You can go on this Tennessee. It's like JPay, but a little bit different. And you can go on there and you can put money on their books. You can email them or whatever. His is put money on the books or send a message. I sent a message, but you can also register and make an account. I did not do that. I don't know if you have to do that to get a reply, but he has to pay for replies. It's free to email him, but you have to pay to get it. He has to pay to reply to you. So,
did you ever send him mail?
No. I know that Candace was spreading rumors that I was writing him, and I just let that fly because I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, she had told me. I thought it was funny. She had told me that you had sent him a letter, but as soon as he got it, he ripped it up and threw it in the garbage. But then recently,
not true.
Then recently, I heard her on YouTube saying, within the past couple weeks, saying that somebody else had sent him mail. I think it was Molly had sent him mail, and as soon as he read the first line, he ripped it up and threw it in the garbage as well. So it was the same idea. Story. Now we all know that Donnie can't stay away from the drama, so. Yeah. He's going to read and absorb and
left him my phone number, he would call me. I just think he hasn't because he doesn't have my number. I don't know, Benny, what you think, but I told him, if you go to jail, you need to memorize my phone number. So if you go to jail, you can call me. I'll accept a collect call, whatever. Like, Benny, I told him from the beginning. I will still write to you,
Yeah, that was way back when you offered him a lawyer.
Yes, that he stood up. And
5 times.
He wrote my phone number down. In fact, Candace had Don Keller calling me because she didn't know my phone number. So she told Don, like, he's writing this phone number, call this number. Don knew me. She was saved in my phone. But for whatever reason, she didn't realize when she called. She was like, hello? I'm like, hello? She's like, who is this? I'm like, you called me. And I knew who it was because it showed up to me that it was Don Keller calling me. So I just played along. I'm like, you called me. And she was like, Cher? I'm like, yes, Don. And she was like, Don has your phone number written on a book somewhere. I'm like, oh, good. He's trying to memorize my phone number in case he goes to jail. So
He didn't have
was
anybody's
memorized.
phone number saved in his phone.
Oh, that's funny. So that she couldn't get to it or whatever, probably or whatever.
Not, because when he was trying to, he was going back and forth with JLR and Molly and all of them, and he went to show me a text message. And he's like, hold on, I got to remember which one is which. And he'd go back through and read the context of their text messages. And then he knew which one it was.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot.
Matter of fact, I called him one day when he was on the phone with Prayer Garden on her live. And I had said, get your ass off of there. She's recording you and she's going to twist everything you say. And I had to text him that. And he's like, thanks, brother. And he thought I was Benny.
Yeah.
Listen to this last call.
Okay.
With Don and Candace. I'm just interested. Oh, I gotta restart this now. Okay, hold on.
The stuff that come out of her mouth, stop.
Say stuff.
I wasn't thinking, you know me, I had all of these calls and I don't think, oh, I'm gonna record them.
Right.
And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I should record this because they started mentioning, we need your dad's help. Everybody knows what my dad got in trouble for. So I thought that was like, what the fuck? Like, why you want my dad's help and, whatever. But so I started voice memoing. Yeah, I'm like, what are you doing? So.
Like that to me.
Stop. Please stop. No, the things that she said were so horrific and so evil.
Reverend Donna.
I listened to a little bit of it and it was so bad. I just can't.
Do you know what you guys did to me the other night?
It wasn't
You and the Reverend Freena, or whatever her name is.
psychotic Reverend.
You guys had me on my knees crying because I love my daughter more than life itself.
That's quite bad. But her dad understands that.
I know that.
Her dad.
Yeah.
My dad does not have nothing to do with it.
No, he does.
Well, he does, but I've been crying because that woman made me cry so bad. I love my daughter and my kids more than life itself, and for them to say that crap about me, sure, is wrong.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's lit right up there.
I don't even know what to say because
I do. Your dad knows. Your dad knows.
yeah, he told me I need to calm it down.
No, your dad, no.
By the way, Candace, you're listening to this. My dad never told me to tone it down. He was actually disgusted that he had conversations with you guys. But anyway.
I love your dad.
Thank you.
If everything you told me, what you said about your dad is 100% true, Jared, then your dad needs to step up now.
He's done more than what I told you. He's done other things too, but he's not all bad, you know.
So, okay, what do you
What does
make
he mean
of...
step up? He already did his
I don't
time,
know.
right?
Apparently, it's up to my dad to save their ass. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know.
You know what I
That's
took
weird.
that as, Cher, when that first came out, and I'm not trying to degrade your dad because he seems like a very intelligent, very kind-hearted person. But what you've shared with everybody about his past, and you also shared that with Don and Candace, it makes me wonder if they wanted tips as to how to cover something up.
Yes, that is exactly what I feel too. Yep. Yes.
Whoa.
That's exactly why, because
I never thought of that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. And right away, I was like, holy shit, I gotta call TBI. Like, so I started voice memoing so that I could send it to TBI. Now I backed out of it. Darn it. And I gotta find it.
But you know
again.
what the messed up thing is that you had said that they had said something to you that was very evident that they didn't want kids. Don had mentioned to me multiple times while I was on the phone with Candace about the fact that he's done. He's ready to just get the papers from the state, sign the kids over. Because if they think they can raise them better after he's worked his quote unquote ass off this whole time to make sure they had a good life, if the state feels that they can raise them better, they can go for it because he's done. And I said, that's not fair to the boys. The boys need you. That's what their normal space is they need to know that you still are fighting for them. Same as when Candace called me right before we fell out and said that she got a letter from CPS, DCFS, whatever it is they call it in whoever's area, saying that basically she wasn't getting the kids back. And I said, well, you got to get a lawyer. She said, I've got a lawyer. I said, well, maybe you need another lawyer. And she said, it's over. It's done. I can't fight anymore. It's been 9 months. I can't fight anymore.
Well, see,
There's
the
no
thing
fighting.
in my opinion, like once you kick the booze and the whatever else out of your life, like that's a non-fight. Like your fight, like once you get sober, which is what they want you to do, once you do that, like everything else is going to fall into place. So it's not, you're not fighting the state to get your children back, Candace. If you're listening to this, you were fighting yourself to get sober to get your children back.
Yep. And once
Yeah.
if she does ever get sober, she'll regret every bit of it.
Well, I agree.
I hope, and I know this is going to sound really, really harsh, but I hope that every time she had a chance to talk to those boys, and every time she had a chance to go visit those boys but had an excuse, and every time that she had the chance to be able to do something to prove herself that she wanted those kids back and didn't, I hope that haunts her, because that is those babies' lives. All they knew was mom and dad and each other. Regardless of whether it was a good environment for them, they need to know that you're at least fighting for them. And if you don't, imagine what kind of mental damage you're doing to those kids on top of what was already done to them. You have wronged those kids in every way imaginable.
I also want to, just kind of throw it in the atmosphere that I truly hope that, I know there may be many people or a lot of people that don't prefer or approve of that church's practices, but I hope that those people can find a harmony and a unification where they can survive the wells as well. Like that family brought a lot to that church and tested that church. And, I hope that they're better for it, because it certainly sounds as if, as Don was sort of the adhesive that held that together, because as soon as Don went to jail, their input in the church was non-existent,
Well, and Candace doesn't have the same religious beliefs as Don or that church either. And that's why she was so lax when that picture came out that she was sleeping in the pew at the church, or the times that she would sit outside and wouldn't attend, but she'd be there just so Don wouldn't get upset. There's been times that she's told me, oh, I'm going to hide the fact that I'm eating oysters and my mom's going to make me oyster stew. Apparently somebody in her family had made, I don't know if it was her grandfather, her uncle, or somebody had made a really good oyster stew. But she couldn't eat them when Don was home because he says it's in the Bible that you cannot eat oysters. I'd never heard that, but I'm also not a super religious person.
He did message me, so he really was trying to convert me to Seventh-day Adventist. He did send me a menu. Oysters was not on it, but
menu? They have a whole menu?
There's things that you shouldn't eat. It's kind of like Scientology. They're like they're actually not supposed to eat pork.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'll put that and I'll send it to you. I want to.
Well, but see, so I mean, if she's willing to lie to her husband and hide the fact that she's eating things, but then is going to go to that church, even after he went to jail, she's been to that church. But she had told me herself that there's most of the people there don't have anything to do with her. It's very few people that actually associate with her and Don. It wasn't really a close-knit environment for them.
So you guys would say that kind of barking up the tree of the church, I mean, they're just guilty of being a church, being a supportive church. Is you both agree on?
At face value, I would say so, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, at face value, yes.
Would that go with everybody, all members of that church? Like David Dotson, do you think we're barking up the wrong tree with that too, or?
He's no longer a member there. He hasn't
right.
been.
Well, I just mean like
missing.
the church, or like, anyone involved in the church, anyone we know through the church is what I mean.
Well, because the focus wasn't on those people, more that it just kind of moved to them and past them. I feel like if David Dotson is a bad guy, then, the police would have sorted him out and squared him away and, whatever. Because yeah, I mean, he's been under the microscope for as long as Summer has, essentially. So,
yeah,
about week
I think
2
he's
or
just
3.
being weird.
Yeah, I think so too. If he was truly culpable of something, they'd have locked him up by now, or you would think you would hear
We
more
would
chatter about him. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think so too. I'm gonna play through more of these from that call of Don. I don't remember which parts are
For alcohol one.
something.
Well, I've done all kinds of shit myself because I'm out of my fucking mind.
What the hell is Chris McDonough doing?
Oh yeah, that's right.
I know.
He likes to talk about Chris McDonough.
Why Supremacy Group told me that they demanded that I cook meth for them, okay, because I was going to be released out of Utah State Prison.
Yeah.
They demanded, and they threatened my life, that I had to cook meth for them. They give me a brand new home in the Upper East Side of fucking Ogden, Utah. Brand new home, all these bits.
Now a lot of people think that he's referencing Breaking Bad in this and making it his life.
Everything else like that, threatened my life, and said all they wanted was 50%. Right. And I told them, you will have to kill me. Believe me, I understand. I told them, just fucking kill me.
Do you think that they would take Summer?
Yeah. What?
Would they take Summer?
No, this happened a long time ago.
Oh, like many years ago. Okay, sorry.
This is a long time ago.
Okay.
I wasn't going to do that because I knew it was a dead end road. I mean, this is a long time ago. Some prison pictures you see online and all that, that's what that was then.
Yeah.
No, a long time ago. Way before I ever met Candace.
Yeah.
Tell them just to fucking kill me.
Where's the one?
That's when I got involved with the...
I think this is it.
Are you guys both safe? Because there is a part of me that thinks maybe other people are kind of, maybe trying to scare you guys to stay quiet. I just want to, and you don't have to answer anything, just say either no, share, we're okay, or...
No, they've been trying to split us up, actually.
That's fucked up. Oh, because they think that if they do that, then one of you will turn on each other.
Right. So see, we kind of need your dad's input.
Yeah.
Your dad, we kind of need your dad right now.
Yeah.
I know. He knows this.
We need you too, but only if you're on the good side.
We love you, sure. We do.
What can I do, Candace, to be on your good side? I will try anything.
Man, first off,
just be our friend.
Be our friend.
Please.
And this is a little bit down.
You gotta believe our lies too, though.
We're all
Right.
lost.
Believe my
We're all
lies.
lost. Every one of us human beings are lost, and we all need each other's help. And Satan.
COVID vaccination.
Me too. Me too.
So she starts talking about COVID. So yeah, that whole call. If you heard her before, I'm asking, like, are you guys okay? Okay, are you afraid? Is someone, like, not letting you guys talk? She says, I'm fucking awesome. Like, what the...
Not what you expected to hear.
Not what you expected. No, that's not what I wanted to hear. I want to get to... I put a video up earlier and asked people for questions. We've gotten some in the chat, but I want to get, there was some good ones here. I'm going to share screen. It might be a little echoey. I don't know why it does that. Now we're going to, I think it was in here.
Did you know that you can make a full-time...
Yes, we knew. No, we don't care. Okay. So a question from Zena. I don't know how well you guys can see here. Zena says, do either of you have any major regrets? I support Summer and the boys. So that's a good one. I know they were asking if I have regrets. I do not. I still can't just let it go. I can't come on here and just regurgitate the same shit though. I don't like that. But no, I feel guilty. I don't want to forget Summer. I think that's what people want. They want us to forget. They want this case to go cold. I have no regrets. I wish I could do more. Shannon, how about you? Do you have any regrets at all for what you've been doing or continue to do in the Wells case?
I go back and forth. I regret a lot of the chaos. I regret I really regret getting involved in YouTube. Because I got dragged pretty hard. And I'm still getting dragged. Now I'm being accused of sleeping with Benny, and that was definitely not a thing.
We've all been accused. I've been accused of sleeping with Don. I've been accused of my father selling me to Don when I was little. Apparently, I've sent nudes to Benny and Don and everybody under the sun, which is hilarious.
Cher doesn't even send red hearts.
I don't.
with that.
I don't. Do I? No.
No, she sends purple heart.
I sent a purple heart because I think a red heart is disrespectful to my husband. And I actually, I even asked my husband, I was like, you know my relationship with Benny. Is it okay if I send a purple heart? Like, that's my friend, that's my brother. No, for real, didn't I, babe?
Yeah.
I asked permission to send a purple heart. And I will not send a red heart to another guy. That might be weird to some people. I do
purple hearts too.
Yeah, and purple, that's my thing. But no, I do not send red hearts to Benny. I don't send pink hearts to Benny.
Speaking of purple being your color, you had made comments about dyeing her hair. She said she couldn't.
Yeah.
She went and dyed her hair purple after that.
I saw that. Yeah, you guys, there is a bad echo for whatever reason when I share the screen. I'm sorry.
You said she dyed her hair purple?
She did.
Mm-hmm.
Candace's hair is purple right now?
Yeah, it was. It's washed out now.
It's not quite like theirs. She didn't bleach it or anything first, so it's not quite vibrant.
Yeah, she did like a mahogany color. Yeah.
Like where is she popped up online?
This was like a couple weeks ago, and I believe she went on Ernie's.
Oh, okay. When her hair was down and she wasn't wearing a hat, and everybody was commenting her hair. She had just dyed, so you could tell it was nice and washed. She had called me when she had just done it. You still couldn't see the purple in there. So
now I told her, dye your hair purple with me. I was like, let's go live, Candace. Dye your hair purple for summer. And she was like, I can't. Too many girls already want to sleep with me. And then she was telling me, actually on that phone call I was sharing, she was like, you should not have purple hair, Cher. That means that I won't say the word she used, but she told me I was a walking billboard for the D words. Like,
whoa.
Yeah, she called me the elbow. I don't want to say the word because it's disrespectful. Yeah, she's rude. By the way, I see.
But it also that lets you know they think about things like
yes,
I hate to say it, like signs and symbols.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly.
Right? Yeah. They do place an importance on it of some sort.
We got one from Christina. How does Benny feel about that his devoted subs have changed side? This question. How does Benny feel that his devoted subs have changed side as soon as he changed side himself? From one moment to the next, his subs went along. All right, this doesn't really have anything to do with summer.
I'll answer it if I could.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Shoot. I'm going to take my headphones off. I'll get back to the echo.
Oh, sorry.
I'll tell you this. Most of my devoted subscribers are like friends and family. And I think that there was a great deal of them that respected my boundaries, but were already where I am now. They were already there, but they were being patient with me. It's not that they changed with me. It's that they were a lot of them were already there, but they supported and respected my grind and my hustle, and they're like, we're going to support this dude. But it isn't that I swung a whole cult of people. It's that these people swung me, right? They're like, Benny, you mean to tell me you can't actually see what these people are and what they're doing and yada, yada, yada. And, slowly but surely. And then I went on the hill and I saw the interaction with the police, and it was like, even then I came back. That was in December. I came back. And it wasn't until about 3 weeks ago, I held on to it even after seeing that. And it was like,
the lies became enough.
Yeah. The phone was it. It was like, I had to draw a line. Do I continue to go on live and act like I don't know that there's an issue with this data, or do I report it and then, tell on them and try to get them to do the right thing? And that was an easy choice. It was immediately tell the TBI, tell the FBI, and then, tell on them online, like, you got that stuff. Take it in, please. Take it in.
And on the other side of that too, is that, people are going to follow your beliefs because you show them receipts. And I know you hate that word, but you show them the proof. You have stuff to back up your feelings and what you're saying. So that's enough right there to, I guess, to use the word sway for lack of better terms. You know, you're going to prove to them, and then they're going to form their own opinion, and whether they merge with you or not, that's up to them. And they felt that what you showed them was enough proof and enough evidence of so much chaos and just degradation in the entire scenario that it moved them.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that ironclad. There's some people that, they ask you a question, and it's, I see it on the lives a lot when there's a lot of people. They're like, nobody's answering my question. I just have one question. And you got to be careful answering those one questions for some people, because to them, they might ask you something that seems insignificant to them, but it triggers a bias in those people. Yeah. And they will change their beliefs based upon your answer to a question that has nothing to do in the real hunt for Summer.
You really have to know how to form your sentences.
Yeah, they're landmines. You can't do all or nothing statements, and it's hard. It's very hard to come here and relay information and be credible, especially if you're not in a position like Mr. Mark, Miss Cher, Miss Shannon, or myself. If you weren't right there hearing it from them, by the time it gets out to the line, man, it's so watered down and distorted, it's unreal.
Do you, what do you guys think about this question here? Ladies first, Shannon?
Yes, ma'am.
That's a hard one. That's almost a loaded question, really.
It is.
I'm just going to speak for myself, because I mean, it's very clear that Benny's seen some shit, I saw things through my own eyes while I was up there, and I heard things through my own ears while I was up there. I tried really not to get too tied up in the YouTube stuff and the lies and try to believe any of it. So there's a lot that I was missing from there, so that I could more so focus on them. And based on what I saw, I could not form a entire belief of what happened to Summer or what is to come. There were things that were said to me, such as Grandma had approached me with the fact that she thinks Don did it. She gave me a whole rundown of that, if Don did it, that she's no longer with us and that she won't be found. And that was kind of my spiral point. I kind of lost my entire grip, my entire footing while I was there, because of that comment. Wow. So that kind of sways me in that direction a little bit. But then when you're starting to think about different things like that, you're like, well, but how could that be? And then you go on a tangent and you lose your whole focus on, oh yeah, it's Don. I first believed that there was no way that these people could pull this off. They're not, people argue that they're 40-year criminals, and that they are, that we know of. But a good criminal, if you will, is not going to get caught. And they've gotten caught for so many things, not necessarily everything they've ever done that was illegal, but they've gotten caught for so many things, so many stupid things, that it makes you wonder, really, how could they get away with essentially the perfect crime?
That's what my husband would say all the time. If anything, they're good at getting caught, but
yeah.
And they still could get caught. There's different cases.
It's not over.
Was it the West Boys? Right, it's not over.
Yeah,
in some cases, it takes a year or 2 or 3 before there's charges.
Right.
Yeah. Benny,
I do wonder, though, they don't have garbage pickup at their house, and they take their trash to the dump.
Oh.
And when I posed the questions to the PIs about whether the landfill had been searched, I was given I don't know.
If I had to answer that question, I've been going over the DOJ case management for missing children that incidents turned to murdered children. And when you listen to the stats and the science that doesn't bend, it's going to tell you, after 3 hours, after 30 days, after so on and so forth, like, you have to listen to those things. And, in my opinion, short range, in the 3 to 6 to 9 month range, you start thinking you're still maybe kick around the idea that somebody brought her to a better family. But then as you see the way Don and Candace degrade, you know, I talked a lot about misidentifying emotions because you can look at, even we can misidentify our own emotions, but when we look at someone, sometimes we have a difficulty differentiating if someone's fearful or if they're excited or if they're guilty or if they're depressed or grieving or guilty or, we can misidentify these things, especially in other people, but certainly in ourselves as well. So when I look at what I know and with what I understand about these sorts of scenarios, I don't think she'll be found because to the offender, that the remains are a trophy, but he understands that to the rest of the world, it's not. And so he has to hide that. And in hiding that comes great shame. And so it's the most unimaginable embarrassment that these offenders will feel when, it's in child offenders. And I think specifically in this case, if Don or Candace is involved, the kind of shame that they will bring on themselves for the way she'll be found, I think is unimaginable. So I don't think Don is ever going to tell on himself. Now,
Right.
They're in too deep.
Would Candace tell on them? Maybe. But I think there's times that I feel like Candace she's thicker skinned than Don even. So
I can see that. Yeah.
yeah,
They definitely have something on one another. You remember that crazy call I had and she was
oh
like,
yeah,
Cher
yeah,
called the cops on you. I don't have to. And it's like, all he did was call me on YouTube. That's not against the law. So like, what the heck do you guys know?
She's very spiteful. Mm-hmm. And her mom feeds that.
Oh, really?
in a way, when it's important to Miss Candy, she will fuel Candace. But then I've also seen the thing that resembles a restraint coming from Grandma Candace to Candace that Candace doesn't have, of herself. So I've seen what it looks like Candace is going to spiral down, and then all of a sudden Grandma will step in and say, "Hey," and maybe straighten it up for a little bit. So it is an interesting dynamic, but for the last 3 months or not 3 months, 3 weeks or so, Candace had been away from her home, and her mother had been, effectively just sort of stranded there. And I found that very interesting that this sort of trifecta of adults, it was 3 and then it became 2. And then the 2, they said online on WJHL, they said, we can't speak for him. And I asked Candace straight out on a conversation, which I have recorded. I said, you think Donnie's going to turn on you? And she said, yeah, I do think Donnie's going to turn on me. And I'm like, well, for what? You guys got a meth lab, or you guys rob a bank together, or, what would be the substance of why why he would turn on you? And she just never would go there. Never,
That's what
ever.
Mark said. Like that call about my dad. Like, they're trying to get us to flip on each other. And it's like, but for what though?
Yeah.
Flip on what?
Yeah. Should be like certain words won't even be in your vocabulary, or ideologies won't even be in your mind space if you're not involved. But to answer the question, I don't think she'll be fine. I so hope that I'm wrong.
I feel the same. I hope we're wrong too, but I understand that feeling. I do.
Yeah.
And that's discouraging.
It is.
What does Benny know, if anything, about the Utah, the memorial, you guys? Now it's weird, right? How do you guys feel about that? What do you guys know about that? Why they're in Utah when, as far as we all know, am I correct to say Summer's never been to Utah?
I don't know. Like, this is the third time I've heard about a Utah memorial. I actually don't know any of the context of what is alleged there at all.
It's some rocks.
I don't either. It
Some
was
rocks.
It's a
I
stack
learned
of
it on
rocks.
YouTube.
Let me. It's gonna echo
Like
for a
who?
minute, guys. But let me.
Okay.
I'll
Put
pull
it
it
there
right
because
up.
nobody's been back to Utah since she went missing.
Tim, Don, and
Nobody's been back to
Candace.
Utah since she went missing. So who built it?
Don
They did
and
it while they were
Candace
there?
went to Utah with Tim after Dr. Phil. They
When?
had a layover.
Oh, see, that's the
They-
first I've heard that.
No, yeah, they had a layover after meeting Benny, and they went to Utah and they stayed. Now, Mary, his stepsister, doesn't know how long they stayed, but if I'm going by Don, because he sent me pictures, and then he was like, when I get home, I'll send you more, just be patient. And it was the same trip as the Dr. Phil trip, I know that. And then he never sent me more pictures because I shared those ones.
Wouldn't a memorial suggest that you know that there's been a finality?
Passing,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
think-
what everyone's. Yeah, that's exactly the problem I have with that because it's weird. Now I think they actually might have deleted that. They sure like to showcase you on that channel, though, huh, Benny?
Yeah. Yeah.
I keep seeing people commenting saying that Summer is alive and she's with Robin and Candace. Those are the things
That's
that have
not
caused
true.
this case to get all messed up. So
100%,
if there's
yeah.
no
for
truth in
the
that-
YouTube. Now it doesn't mess up anything in real life. The law enforcement, they look at this stuff and some of the things that we're saying over here, like these people vote and have children. Holy God.
Yeah.
and are allowed to be by themselves.
Yeah, like this doesn't mess up that bad.
Well, I'm gonna mute because there's an echo, but this video is about a minute and a half. Here's it's a memorial marker for Summer in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was
I
made
wanna
by
make a
Tim
comment.
then.
Yeah, I want to make a comment about, it's every time I see findsummerwells.com now,
Yeah.
it really hurts me because it's like, how can you be the proprietor of the findsummerwells.com, but you have information from Donald Wells' phone that you backed up that you won't turn into the TBI? You are not team findsummerwells.com. That's not it at all. Like it really is irritating.
And I have two comments. One that goes off of the phone thing, and then one off the Utah thing. So the phone thing, what blows my mind is Tim's answer was to why he backed up the phone was because Don wanted him to preserve his photos. Well, the phone is not perishable. It's not going to rot. It's not going to disintegrate. When the prepaid card runs out, the pictures aren't going to just automatically disappear. So why would it need to be backed up if nobody's making foul movements with the phone? So his answer to that question about why would he need to back it up just doesn't make sense.
No,
but
it
then
doesn't.
going on to the Utah thing. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, the way he did it, it was like, all you got to Google is how to, back up an iPhone. And he used some obscure software to extract the info from it. And I'm like, man, all you had to do, you had the phone. All you had to do was create a Dropbox or create a Google Drive and put just the photos and the videos in it. Like, there's no reason for you to download all the metadata and stuff from his phone. There's no reason for that. And then for you to say you didn't
have an iCloud. You have to have an iCloud to have an iPhone.
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't have to store stuff to it, but it certainly is one button to upload it to that. So I'm explaining it to him, and he's like, oh yeah, well, I didn't know anything about iPhones. And I'm like, yeah, Tim, but like, you also only had to download iTunes onto your computer, and then you could have done the same thing. Like, that's the software to use.
Yep.
He was trying to go around the iTunes for some reason. And again, I want to mention that for him to be so invested in this, would I look through Don's phone if I had it and no one was around for 2 weeks? Of course I would. I would crawl through every square inch of that man's phone looking for the answer. This man claims he did not.
I call bullshit.
Candace claims she did not go through the phone as well.
Yeah, he was saying that to you, Benny, and then he was actually saying, well, it would download these 10 pictures, and then I noticed there was some not here, and then they would download 10 more, and then, and so I'm thinking, well, obviously then you know what pictures have been downloaded or not downloaded, so you went through it because you know what's missing. So, duh, like, I'm sorry.
Not too good at this.
Yes.
Not too good at this.
So the thing with the Utah Memorial that strikes me as odd is that when I was there at Candace and Don's house, Candace was sure to show me pictures on, I was there at the house. And then she went through her photo albums and was showing me pictures of when they had gone to California, pictures of summer when she was little. But why would she show me pictures of just regular flowers planted on the side of the road in California, but wouldn't show me pictures of that monument, that memorial that they made? How strange is that?
That's very weird. Yeah.
Yeah, very weird.
Did they at all, when you guys were there,
weird.
Would they at all, like, were Candace being a mom, like, was she ever trying to bring out picture albums and like, look at this, look at that, anything like that at all? Like,
she did, yes.
Okay.
But
okay,
what she pulled out that I looked at was like stacks of pictures of Don with Summer when she was in various stages of, being a baby and a toddler and on up. Like, Candace was always the one taking the pictures. Like, Don didn't take the pictures, so it was mainly pictures of Don and Candace. I mean, Don and Summer, pardon me.
Don and Summer.
And I actually asked her to look at the pictures because she was telling me about her photo albums that somebody bought her that she was putting together for each one of the kids. And when I say putting together for each one of the kids, I use that term loosely. A lot of her photo albums were empty except for one that was done for Summer. And a majority of the pages that were filled in there were missing posters that people had made up for her. And whenever there is a news article put out in the newspaper for Kingsport or in the area, she would collect that. And she would put the clippings in the photo album. And then she's got pictures that people had printed off for her and brought to her. And she put those in there. But she didn't have them in any kind of order as far as like age or events of life or anything like that. They were just in there. And it was what I was in awe about. And I had mentioned to Benny, I said, Benny, you got to look at these pictures. Summer looked very, in one picture, she looked like a 5-year-old little girl. In another picture, she looked like she was 10 or 12 and has seen the world.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's varying faces of Summer. I think we all can see that. But it's, you can see what was going on in the house just on her face in a lot of the photos,
And it kind of goes along, it rides along with the whole comment from Candace of, when Donnie and I were fighting, Summer would come in, she controlled this house. When we were fighting, she'd come in and say, Daddy, you leave my mommy alone. Mommy, you leave my daddy alone. And she controlled her brothers. She'd whip them right into shape. So for a 5-year-old little girl to be comfortable going in the middle of a argument of two most likely intoxicated people and feeling comfortable telling them to stop. tells me she's done that many times, had to do that many times. She was the mom.
Yeah. Wow, that brings me flashbacks. Wow. Yeah. Dalen says, please ask Benny, and I'm going to ask you too, Shannon, how Candace responded privately to Jose coming forward. Yes, how did you get, you must have got mad calls, like, oh my God, can you shut him up? Or like anything like that? Or how did that
You
kind
know
of
what?
go?
She had, like, I asked her the next morning after Jose came online the first time, and she just said, "Oh, he's a lying mf'er," and then she brought up the scenario with her and Allie in the kitchen where Jose comes up the stairs and he makes a comment that he wanted a chick with a D, and I wanted to substantiate that, and so I have a resource, and they were able to find Jose on multiple trans sites searching for other trans men. So in that it was very strange that she told the truth. And that's what I come to find is that I would get clouded by her telling the truth about someone else in believing that because she could tell me something truthful that I could go dig and find about someone else, that she must be telling me the truth when she's referring to herself. Never the case. Never, 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 never.
Doo-doo heads. Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
Did you ever get any... Would she say anything? I'm sorry, Shannon. Did she say anything to you?
No, she didn't. She kind of took that one on the chin, I think. She would laugh. She got to a point where she would laugh things off. She would watch YouTube and listen to everything in the silence, in the shadows. But she really didn't have much to say. You would think that something like that, she would come out and, even to one of us that she would talk to as friends and confide in and even complain to, you would think she would have something to say about that, at least to stand up for herself. And she didn't. She didn't say anything to me. I do know that somebody had asked Benny to ask Candace if that was really the real Jose, and she said yes. Other than that, there was really no conversation. I know that I had asked well prior to all him coming out, what about Jose? Jose has been kind of pushed to the back burner, but if Don got into an altercation with him, couldn't he have come back and played revenge games or anything? And they both just said no, and that was it. They moved right on past it.
Yeah, they didn't really have, she didn't have a comment about him at all. Now, I can tell you this, that anytime Jose became a focus online, or if people mentioned him or leaned on him for a day, the Wells were going to have a bad day, because Don was just completely stuck on the idea that Candace and Jose had some sort of relationship. I mean, completely obsessed with it. And it seems like it would sort of intensify after he had been drinking.
And a guilty conscience, do you think? I mean, Don had wandering eye, right?
Possibly. Somebody said, Benny and Shannon, thoughts on Candace and H inappropriate relationship.
Yeah, I was wondering what you thought, but I can't. I
think that and for me though, I lean towards the side of it being inappropriate with substances. I believe that probably Candace smoked weed, bought him twisted teas, vapes. So that is completely inappropriate. Now, in terms of what YouTube thinks is inappropriate, I don't really have a comment for that, because I've not seen anything definitive that would lead me to believe that there was something inappropriate sexually.
Okay, you haven't seen that?
No, I've seen nothing. No.
I want to ask both of you then, what's your thoughts and feelings? Now, it's my opinion. Now, I think he's a liar, okay? I think there was many lies in in what he has said, Jose. But in my opinion, Jose is the first person for me that has given Summer substance. Like, that made me be able to close my eyes and picture what he was saying. I laughed. I cried a little. Like, I got a good vision of Summer, her personality. He did a good job with that. But I have to say, I don't believe half the shit that came out of his mouth.
He's
What
a red
do you
herring.
guys-
There's been
Okay.
many. And I'll tell you this, that it became very common knowledge that Jose was, he lived a very transient lifestyle. And when you live a transient lifestyle and you're, for instance, sleeping on somebody else's couch, if you want to keep that place to stay, you've got to let things go by. And, many people have made the contention that Jose lived in many environments where there were things that should have been reported, but he did not, because he said he liked to watch the show. That was his words. He liked to be entertained by watching, the inside of people's toxic lives.
Yeah, that's
kind of what we
disturbing.
do, though, right?
That is.
It is, but we report it though.
Yeah, we do it. Yeah, it's
We
totally
report it.
different. Yeah.
I mean,
So
he had all
see-
those huge problems while he was there with Don and Candace and the kids and the shower and all this other stuff. And he didn't report to nothing. He
Right.
reported to the damn YouTube 8 months later. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So seeing with the Jose thing, it was weird to me that he came out the way he did, and that
And when
Justin
he did,
found him.
Yeah.
Because the PIs had been looking for him.
Yeah.
And I had been talking to Andrew, and before I finished that sentence, please, I want everybody to know that I am not related to Andrew.
Oh, is that a thing? Are people
yes,
saying that?
because my mother's
A lot of
maiden name is
people.
Hiltz.
Oh,
And I'm from upstate New York.
you guys, no, come on, guys. That's
So anyway, I had been talking to Andrew because I reached out to him to see if there was a chance we were related. And I even told Candace, and I said, oh my God, please don't let me be related to this guy. So I reached out to him, and it was almost in a way of informational too. And he had told me, I don't know, maybe a month in or so, that when I had told him that the PIs wanted to talk to Jose, he was maintaining that he was in the Philippines. He had gotten married. He had left his old life behind and doesn't have access to a phone but once a month.
yeah.
Then he told me that the only person that knew was him and now me, that Jose was in Alaska, never left to go to the Philippines, never got married, and that if I could prove to him by paperwork that the PIs or law enforcement or anybody was trying to reach out to him, that he would get them in contact.
Yeah.
He also told me that Hunter was, or H, I'm sorry, that H is not in a, he's not in a mental institution. He's not in juvie. He's not in any kind of a facility, but he did tell another creator that the H is in, that he was taken from his mother.
I can believe that because there was things being allowed and he's a minor. I actually think he was taken away from Allie.
Well, and Candace had said a ways back that she had heard from somebody in H's family that he had got caught drinking and smoking weed with his girlfriend. So they took him away and put him in foster care. And then all of a sudden it became a big thing on YouTube. And I'm like, well, this is what she said, you know, and she, I think she had a point there. I really think that was some truth coming out of her.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that there was any kind of inappropriate actions between Candace and H. I do feel that with her mental her mental level, because I still feel like she's stuck at like a 15-year-old level, and I don't know if there's medical reasons behind that or if it's just more of a traumatic experience that's being pushed back and she hides that by acting juvenile. I feel like, and I've met people like that. I feel like that makes her gravitate more to those 15-year-olds that just want to party and play and joke around and just be silly.
Yeah, definitely.
Andrew was saying in his chat one day about how, you know, these things that he feels. So at the beginning, Andrew was saying that he doesn't know of anything between Candace and H.
Correct.
But then when he started hearing it rolling around YouTube, then he boarded the train. I had said in his chat one day that Candace had told me that H was more like a kid to her, and that she would take him to do stuff with her and the kids because his mother didn't act like a mother to him. And Andrew had commented, he had replied with that, you know, on open live. I agree. So what is it? Is it that he did or he didn't? Or are you just following the choo-choo train?
Definitely following the choo-choo train. Because didn't he come out? Wasn't he supposed to have some kind of interview with Jose's family, who was calling Jose a pedo, which never happened?
Supposedly.
Supposedly, yeah.
All the money he takes in on his channel was supposed to go to it was supposed to be donated to charities for kids too.
You guys, we have straight up suspects with monetized YouTube channels. This is crazy. Like, what
for
is
sure.
I don't even know.
I think he saw it as a money grab and he jumped and here he is.
100%.
His wife would scream at him and tell him, you know, get off that GD YouTube and you know, I'm home, it's family time, and he'd jump right off and he'd run to her beck and call. But now she's, from what I've been told, is that she's entertaining the YouTube world with him now.
Yes. Unfortunately, I've got some clips sent to me, and I wouldn't call it entertainment, but I mean, I don't like it.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah. I mean, you guys, I thought Chris Watt's case was crazy, but this is, you can't make this up. Like, I don't even know. Benny and Shannon, would you say, because I honestly feel like we were all being watched before Summer was reported by Tim Mullen for one, but I think that there was a group of people monitoring us days before Summer. I think within like 2 weeks, but I do think, do you guys think I'm totally crazy and off on that? Or do you think it's possible that we were watched and kind of studied? I'll say let's even say like within 48 hours of Summer being reported missing. It's weird. You can say I'm completely nuts.
I don't feel I
was
being watched. I wasn't part of the YouTube world at that point, so I know I wasn't being watched.
Right.
I think it's plausible. You know, I think anything is possible at this point. Like, I've seen
the
it
way
all
Tim
now.
talks, it makes me feel like he was watching us YouTubians before. At least like bigger people, maybe Molly Golightly, maybe Jay for Justice, or Unmasked, or something. You believe that? Yeah. One of his videos really like made me, I was like, oh shit. So, I can't remember exactly what point, but it stood out to me. I was like, I feel us YouTubians were being watched.
He likes to mind bend people or mind FECK people.
Yeah. You can say it, mind fuck people,
that's
yeah.
who he lives for. It just gives him more mental power for himself, really.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it does.
You can't write this stuff. No, you
No,
can't.
you can't.
Well, I appreciate you guys. Like I said,
Yes,
I could
ma'am.
go for hours, but it's almost 10 o'clock here.
Yeah.
We could, I'll go on yours next, whatever. You guys are always welcome, but I definitely, there's about 100 questions I didn't even get to, because like I said, like I'm on interview mode, and I also want to know what my friend went through. Like, I want to know, because I think it's important. I want, like, so I'd like to do this again. I'm available all week, and I'll go on your channel or what. But I have 100 more questions. Like I said, I want to know, because I want to know, how was my friend feeling in, there's more than 100 more. So, and I think, hey, maybe you and Mark should get together, because I think you have a story that should be told, because I plan on making like a 6-part docuseries, which is more about like me and my life, but Summerwell's case affected me, because I see myself in this case. What I want to end tonight with, though, I'll start with you, Shannon. Give me one regret and one thing that you can be proud of, because you guys should be proud of yourselves. Give me one regret or one thing you would change, And one thing that you guys can look at yourself and say you are proud of yourself for that, because you should be. Fuck what haters say, because everyone's using your stuff. We all want to know the information you guys got. So fuck what the haters say, because you guys should be proud of what you did for Summer. Summer would be proud of you. I'm proud of you guys. And I know there's tons of other people that are. So starting with Shannon, one thing you would change or that you regret, and one thing that you are proud of yourself for in this case.
I think the being proud one stands out to me more only because I have to really think about whether I regret, what I regret the most. Because it's like, do I regret it or do I not? So what I'm proud of most is that I know that I went in there into all of this with good intentions, with Summer being the first at heart. There was never a question of, what is this really about? Why am I really doing this? There was never a question of, oh, is there some way that I can find her and get the reward money? I wouldn't take that reward money if you stuffed it down my throat. Because no pun or no play on Benny's channel name, but that to me is blood money. And I want no part of it.
Yeah.
If that little girl is in fact gone, I wouldn't want to accept anything of that sort. Because it's almost like a congratulations, she's gone. Here's your gift. What I would regret the most, I want to say, is being so innocent going into it. And I think Benny can reflect on that, on me being too innocent and gullible even, being up there. There was a lot that happened that I was blinded to only because I've got to have it in my face of, this is what this is. And then I finally would call Benny and say, oh my God, there's a possibility that we just sat at the same table as potential murderers. And that's not saying that they are, and that's not saying that I think they are, but you have to look at the long game, and we don't know what's going to come of this, and that's a scary thought. If I sat at a table with people that did something in fact to their child, that's going to hit me, and that's a scary freaking thought. And I have kids, but they've never met my kids, and they never will meet my kids. And it never was my intention to allow them to meet my kids. Again, it was like how Benny did. You have to make an excuse. Yeah, we'll come up. Oh no, the kids are sick, or oh, they've got school, or I've got to work. You have to butter up, and you have to kind of tiptoe. But I think I was smart in certain ways in doing it, but I do think that I was too gullible and too innocent going in there with such good intentions. It feels funny to say that because I feel like I'm tooting a horn, but I know why I went there. You should be, and whether other people believe that or not, that's okay, because I know in my heart why I went there, and God knows why I went there.
And you saying you're too innocent or gullible, I wouldn't say gullible. You're innocent and you had to have things in your face. I actually think then you went in there with a fair way. You say gullible or, you were innocent, but to me, you went in there then, that is a fair slate to go in there as. You didn't really, I wouldn't call it innocent even, but clearly that's fair then, right? Because you had to have it right in your face to feel the way that you feel today. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm a proof kind
of person. I can't base something on just speculation. That's why it's so hard for me to come up with a formulated belief on what happened to Summer or what's to come in this case. It's more so I went in there to form my own opinion, but I think I was blinded by giving everyone a fair shot and starting them out on a clean slate and just say, all right, give me what you got. But I think there were some things that were happening in the, dare I say, in the bushes, meaning, out of my sight, that Benny expected, because this isn't his first rodeo, and it was mine, and my last. But
your last?
Oh, my last. My last. I was crippled for one day up there. I was fully mentally and physically crippled. And if it wasn't for Benny and Robin being there to pull me back out of that very dark space that I allowed myself to get into for a period of time, I don't know what would have happened to me. I had to go down the Virginia mountain to get home. And I cried the entire way, and that's not even a lie. My face was not dry for the entire 5 hours to get home.
Wow.
It was like a weight lifted off my shoulders. And, you know, all the while my husband pleading me to not go back up there and telling me how stupid it was for me to get involved. And he was right. He was right, because I wasn't ready for that. I didn't think, I mean, I knew that because of the YouTube world, it was chaotic. It was disastrous. It was just a whole lot of makeshift shit. But I didn't realize that it was like that there. I thought that, oh, this is surely got to be some kind of a misconception. This whole scenario can't be this messed up. You can't drink the water. Let's just put it that way.
I'm so glad I didn't go.
Yeah.
Benny. Mr. Benny.
Well,
What do you...
there was a time when I was very proud of the fact that I felt like, or had been led to believe, that I had restored some hope for those people. And I used that as a fuel to try to keep going and keep going. And I don't know how I feel about that. That's one of the things that I'm proud of, because I feel like if I could restore hope in somebody like them, that I could be that same force for anybody else. That's the thing I'm most proud of. The thing that I'm most regretful of is that I didn't kill Don Wells when I had a chance. I was there and he was not in his right mind. It was a knife on the counter, and I thought, this fool make one shifty move, I'm gonna put this knife in his neck. And I had to restrain myself that night, and I felt like the world would be better off without him.
But that would have ended up being a very big regret.
Yeah, but it's the truth. There was a point in time during that trip where I aimed to kill that man, and I didn't.
Saying that, you said something to Mr. Cher. Do you remember that? He'll never forget it.
Yeah.
Do you want to share that?
You can share it.
Hold on one second. Hey, babe! Babe! Okay, he's in the bath. And I went to mute, but I shut the camera off. He has his phone. I don't remember the exact words, but you said, I'm going to have a come to Jesus with that man. And pretty much if he's not 100%
He doesn't tell
honest,
he doesn't tell me what I know he knows. I'm going to kill him.
you're going to gut him like fish
I'm going to gut him like a fish
in the woods.
in the woods.
And yeah, we were like, wow. And so while you guys not all you guys, but you know, the hate that people that get close out, because I had mad hate and I didn't even meet them in person. But the hate that you guys are putting on Benny, I don't care who you are, but I've heard it all. I've heard everything under the sun, and I don't think it's fair. I have said mean things about Benny. I was angry. I was hurt because I didn't understand like what happened between me and my friend. It was kind of to me, I felt like we woke up one day and was saying, but I kept telling myself there's a purpose for this because I know the conversations Benny and I have had privately. So I was just like, okay, he's gonna call me one day. He's doing what he has to do. He's gonna call me one day because this just doesn't make sense. But what Benny did, what many people did, but especially I would actually say Benny got the closest. He had to be many different hats, and everybody is using this now. What does Benny know? Ask Benny this. Da, 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 da. So why is he getting the hate? Because what if 6 months from now there's a trial and something Benny found is used and bad people are put away because of that? Because Ronnie Lawson can't go have a sleepover with Don and Candace and Grandma. You know what I'm saying? So people should be very careful because you're all begging for him. We all wanted somebody undercover at that house. We wanted that. Don't lie.
That's
We
why we're all
wanted
here,
that.
right?
That's
We're here
why
to
we're
see
all
what's
here.
coming out.
We wanted to hear what Shannon and Benny had to say tonight because they got the closest. So don't drag them for doing what we all wanted somebody to do.
Somebody asked me like 4 days ago, they're like, Benny, why do you still have the picture of you and Don up as your profile picture?
I wanted to ask that, yeah.
And my response is I want them to know that I can still touch them. I want them to understand, even in that jail, I can still touch you. I can still touch you in that jail. It's nothing. It means nothing. So I finally thought about it and I changed it day before yesterday. I think it was. I changed it and I feel better about it, right? I go there and I look and it doesn't even seem like the same familiar place because me and Don aren't up there anymore. But, I realize now that it's in God's hands and, there's nothing I can do about it,
When you go to bed at night now, today, can you sleep well knowing that you have done all that you could do in this situation? Or do you still lay awake at night and think, yeah? It's no
sleep.
There's no sleep.
I can't turn that phone off because in the middle of the night, I guess as parents and whatever, as we get older, we always feel like worse news is going to come in the middle of the night. And it's anytime the phone dings in the middle of the night, I got to treat every single one like it's the one coming in saying they found her. And that's just kind of where it's at. I still get these, I get these calls where people are like, oh, we know exactly where she's at and who did what. And you got to treat every single one like it's real, because as soon as you don't, I hate to realize or figure out the one that I didn't take seriously was the one that was real. Mm-hmm. And that the little girl laid out there was wherever for longer than she had to be.
Right, Debbie. Glad you didn't do that to Don because you wouldn't be here.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, like I said, I definitely want to panel up again. I have so much to ask you. I ask you this one more thing. What do you think now? Like, where do you go from here? Shannon, you said you're done. Like, you can't handle that. I hope that's not true. I hope that this gave you experience.
Yes.
And you continue helping with other cases and even Summer, because everyone has to start somewhere. You started in a hell of a one to start in.
Go big or go home, I guess.
Go
right?
big or go home, yeah. But I hope that this is a stepping stone for you. Really, I do. Because look at what you did. You've gained so much, So I hope that you do more.
I think. So I still help out with some cases, like when Benny had covered the Omar St. Hill case. I also follow other channels, and they had premiered his case. And then I had gone to Benny and said, hey, is there anything you can do with this? Can you please help this guy's family? He's not a child, but he's an adult black male that New York police had just swept under the rug because of those statistics, or, his profile. So, I still will take ones that pull on my heartstrings, but I don't, and I say just something. Like I said earlier, I was watching that collapse of the condo in Florida, and Summer's face was posted on Facebook underneath it. There was a link to it. I clicked it. It brought me to your channel, Cher. That's where I learned about Summer. And I just snowballed from there, because no matter what, you go into somebody's channel and they're going to reference another creator. You find yourself going to that creator, and it just goes on and on and on. And before you know it, you're 100% consumed. And I've said to Benny before, and I've said to the PIs before, how do you back away? I wanted to back away before I actually backed away, because it was so much. It was too much. But I knew that I couldn't do that because the end game is to bring justice to this little girl and hopefully bring her home in socks, not a box. You know, so it just, we've all had one of, you know, if you have children, we've all had that kid that just push every button to where there's no print on your button anymore, to where it's just like, it doesn't say on or off. It's just a bare button and they're just leaning on that son of a bee, you know? And it's like, you're driving me insane. You make me want to like go stick my head in a pillow and go to sleep for the next 9 days. But that's how I felt. I just was done. Every button I had was pushed, but you can't walk away from your kid, right? And now Summer is America's kid and Canada's kid and Europe's America, you know, or Summer is the world's baby now. And I can't walk away from her either. But I just don't know. I think it's when I say that there's probably a touch of PTSD, and I think Benny said that earlier too, there really is. When you walk down the street and you meet somebody that lives in the same area as you, and they're like, oh, hey, where do you live? You know, and you're like, oh, I can't tell you that because you're going to dox me. Yeah. You know, when things like that roll through your head, you're like, man, you've had too much YouTube. Yeah. I don't know. If I do, it would take a while.
Miss Spivey, Benny, you would never say it. Oh, yeah, no,
Benny, for you.
Yeah.
What do you think? Let's say we're going to say, I hate to even say, actually, I'm not going to say that. What do the next 6 months look like for you in the Summer Wells case? Because you're not leaving it. You've done too much. You're not just working on another case, right? I don't see that from you.
Definitely not going to try to please everyone all the time. It's very easy for someone to stand back who has invested a lot of time on YouTube, but that's about it. You know, I like to please people. I want to, you know, somebody asks me for something, I hate to tell them no. And I think that's, you know, I was afraid to tell people what I really thought because of people that on YouTube that feel like, well, they're a member or they do this or that. And so I need to adhere to their beliefs because they support me in a way sometimes. And it was a real fear, but now like it's so relieving to be able to tell my truth about it.
You could see I even look different. I didn't even get as far as like you did with it because I couldn't. But you see, even just being on the phone 24/7, if you look back at me then and then now,
I said the same thing yesterday.
So sucking. Like it just sucks your life from you with these people. So
absolutely. And you know, furthermore, like when you intend on doing somebody wrong, like you don't just tell them, you just do them wrong and then move on. So it you know, it's not, you know, it's and you know that I'm gonna stop right there.
No.
I digress.
Okay.
I digress.
So you are gonna continue on with
Can't stop, won't stop. No brakes on this ride.
Stop.
No.
Yeah. Well, everyone in the chat, they get enough hate. I'm proud of you. I am.
Thank you.
And I'm just meaning you, Shannon, but I'm proud of what you've done, and I hope that you take it more. And I mean, it's getting late, and like I said, I could keep you here all night because again, I want to catch up with my friend. I want to know what you were feeling, and more about Summer. But I'm also interested in what you were feeling. So let's talk in the morning.
Sure,
and
absolutely.
Plan another. And Shannon, you're always welcome too, because I want to know a lot more. I'm just getting to know. I've caught some clips and stuff of your story and journey through this, and I want to know more. So everyone in the chat, for the most part, has been awesome. I can't see how much we have raised tonight for Second Chance, which is an organization that helps youth and young adults and parents with youth to be placed in a shelter, to be able to leave and make a safe exit plan from abusive situations, and helps them be set up. So that's what tonight is. I've gotten a lot of flack for doing these fundraisers because they think I'm getting the money. I'm not.
It's straight through YouTube. You can see it.
It's straight through YouTube. It's going directly to the organization. Go ahead and do a
You're
Google
just a
search
conduit.
on the organization. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just
that's it.
using my
You're
platform.
just sharing the link.
Yep. So that money no
Don't
way
support
goes to
others
me.
that don't support others that do fundraisers the same exact way if you can't support them all. Cher's doing it the
Yes.
same exact way as other people did on Summer's birthday. Same exact way, just a
Yes.
different
Yes.
cause.
Yep.
Yes, thank you. I've been choosing different causes. We have done EquiSearch a couple times. Yesterday we did one for the National Center for Abuse and Domestic Violence. And then, so I go through, I'm huge support for domestic violence. If you guys couldn't tell, I'm a survivor. Benny, I didn't even get to tell you yet, but my daughters, your nieces, are now survivors of the same man that beat me.
Oh, no.
Yeah, their own father.
So you are they going to come with you?
They'll be here this summer. Yeah. So right now they're in a safe place.
Good.
I cannot. I can cross the border. Don't misjudge me. I am choosing to not cross the border until my youngest daughter, is 18, because I will go to jail.
We're going to hold you.
So-
We're going to hold you there.
Yeah, and my kids actually want me to stay here. My son's father's like, just stay in Canada till Courtney's 18. But unfortunately, about a month
Is
ago,
he in jail?
He will be. I can't say too much, but
Sure.
he has a conviction and he's got 11 years over him.
Good.
He happened to put hands on my daughters with this hanging over his head. Wasn't smart.
Couldn't have happened to a better guy, sounds like.
Yeah, yeah. So unfortunately, I'm sad that my daughters need some therapy.
And he is in Wisconsin?
He's in Minnesota.
Minnesota. I was going to say, well, hell, maybe him and Don can, they can catch up.
Oh, no, man. No, but the girls have been in a safe place. I'm very thankful. If that person is watching, the husband and you, I can't say names, but you guys know I have a channel. You're probably watching. I adore you guys, and mother to mother, to know that I can sleep at night and know that my kids are safe and still able to finish up school.
Yeah.
It's a gift for me. It's a blessing.
That's what matters,
So-
is that they're safe.
That's what matters, yeah. So everyone can talk to shit about, how come you're not in Minnesota? I would have ran there. There's reasons why I'm not running there. I'm more help not in a jail cell.
Spivey, this is run through YouTube, love. This is not
Yep.
her. This is not her fundraiser, love.
Nope.
It's all good.
It
Everything is all
doesn't
taken
go
care
to
of.
me at all. Yeah.
Nope.
All right. Well, I'll say goodbye to you guys 100 times, but I'll text you in the morning. Thanks so much, Shannon, for joining tonight.
for having
Benny,
You're welcome.
thank you.
It was kind of a surprise.
I have missed
but
you.
I recommend going and watching Benny's 2 lives that he did where we put it all out there. It'll give you more questions. I mean, you probably don't want more
Yes.
questions, but it might
No, I
actually
want-
give clarity to some of your other questions.
Yeah.
It might give you some hot points to talk about with Benny too.
Definitely. Definitely. Okay, well, I don't know what you guys are doing tomorrow, but I'll go on your panel, hit this panel, whatever. Let's continue this
Either way.
tomorrow. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll talk to you.
Thank you for having me. I'll send you Shannon. You want me to send you, or Sharon?
Yeah.
You want me to send you Shannon's number? Is
Just
that
give her
cool,
my
Shannon?
phone number. Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Definitely.
That works.
Alrighty.
All
Thank you,
right,
ladies.
love you
Thanks for
guys.
having me
Thank
up.
you.
Have a good
And
night.
really quick, before check the chat, please, because in the chat, if you guys would, I want some purple and blue hearts for these folks because they put themselves on the line of fire, all for
Hey,
summer,
Dra Latina.
and all to bring us information and bring awareness to the people that surrounded Summer Wells and to really know what this poor girl was in. Betty, you are invited tomorrow. Please email me. I love you. I'm glad you got away from some people, but I'll leave it at that because your friends are your friends, but I do like you. And
That's Pendar. That's not really Betty.
That's not Bullhorn Betty. I do like
No,
Bullhorn Betty.
she's trolling.
Trolling? Well, you're welcome too. I still like you, but I have had conversations with Bullhorn. Am I saying it wrong? Bullhorn?
Bullhorn.
Bullhorn Betty. I do actually like her.
Thank you, guys.
Her.
She's not too bad.
She's not too bad. Sometimes when you have people surrounding you, doesn't always bring out the best in you. You know what I'm saying? You got people that can bring out the best in you and people that bring out the worst in you. And I'll just leave it at that. Me and Benny, we bring out the best in each other.
Eventually.
All right. I love you guys and we'll talk tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.